me again, waved Fang off as the VIPs started towards us. Protz didn't believe me, or even a way to explain it. Protz ordered him taken away from his work just as he found the anomaly. Natasha broke in, as if he realized the same thing. Suarez and Timebu will verify that they were told to take him and isolate him, or the feds wouldn't find him. Why? Some other VIP asked incredulously. Natasha took a deep breath. You'd have to ask Protz about that, sir. He glanced at me, his mouth a tight line, his eyes telling me to keep on keeping my own mouth shut. I watched them turn away as if they really intended to do just that. Saw panic begin to show on Protz's face. All right, Natasha said to me. What do you need to do this? To use my psi. It took me a moment to realize what he meant. I looked out across the noise and motion, seeing nothing but humans, indistinguishable from their equipment as I tried to see them with my mind's eye. I forced myself to watch them with clearer eyes than I had any time since I had come to this place. So, shell-shocked with loss, I began to lose myself in the reefs. I watched them struggling, arguing, working desperately to rescue friends and strangers who might not even be alive. And then I tried to close them out of my mind so I could do what I had to do to help them. Reach into the void, across the trackless dark, find a distant star of consciousness, touch another human mind. And then I understood why my gift had been stone dead ever since I arrived here. Even though it had been easy for me to reach into my mind, into my heart, it was nothing as simple as guilt or fear that kept me from using my psi. It was them, the humans, the others, the deadheads who'd abandoned me, sold me out, given me up and let me down, betrayed me over and over again. The few of them who'd ever been decent or kind to me, decent or kind at all, the humanity only made them easy victims too. The Hydra in me would always need to feel alive, connected so desperately that there would be a part of me willing to give up, suffer anything to have my gift again. But Mia had been right when she said the human in me could never fully trust another human being. Not even the human part of me. The thing that had forced me to go on living when I had no right to, for any reason. I looked up and Natasha was speaking again, probably telling me to answer his question. I can't, I muttered, shaking my head. Not here, not like this. Then where? He asked impatiently. What do you need? For everything to have been different. I looked at him, through him, with my mind as empty as a dead man's. A phase suit, I said finally. I have to go into the reef. The equipment's scrambled, he said, his patience slipping another notch. You mean even the suits don't work? He shook his head. They should function, but there's no way you can interface with the techs. No way you can get a reading off of you. There'll be no one to guide you or pull you out of trouble. I don't need a tech. I looked toward the ruins of human technology and alien dreamfall, joined like lovers in a suicide pact. I need to be inside. I need to be somewhere I want to be. He looked at me, caught between his expressions, as if suddenly he wasn't certain whether I was just a freak or actually insane. All right, he said finally, as if he decided it didn't matter either way. I'll get you one. Stay here. He held his hands up as if he was putting a spell on me so I didn't disappear. I waited, watching the VIPs surround Protz again, not able to hear what they were saying, not able to read their minds. I didn't know where Kiretsu had the strongest hold here. Would the installation's officials turn on Protz because he'd caused this disaster? Or would they try to bury their mistakes? I hope Natasha got back before they made up their minds. Natasha returned with a phase suit as good as his word. He looked relieved to see me still waiting there, as good as mine. I put the suit on. He went with me as far as the wall of rubble, any interference for me with anyone who tried to get in my way. As we stood in front of the fallen debris, he put his hand on my arm, making me turn back. He hesitated, then let me go again without saying anything. He nodded toward the wall and backed away. I took a deep breath, putting his expression in the world it belonged to behind me as I faced the mass of debris. I ordered the suit online, saw the displays materialize in front of my eyes, a meaningless jumble of random symbols and numerals. For a minute I thought I'd forgotten how to read. No, it's the suit. My confidence caught on a jagged shard of doubt as I realized even the suit's internal systems were scrambled. But Natasha claimed its ability to phase was intact, that only its link to the support system was down. I hoped he knew what he was talking about. I put out my hand, watched it shimmer as I phased it through the surface of the rubble. Just touching the material of the reef sent an electric surge at my arm, straight into my brain. I glanced back a final time. The space behind me had become unnaturally quiet. Every face I could see was looking at me, expectant, waiting. I entered the land of broken dreams. The flesh and bone of organic and inorganic material was closed around me. The silence here was genuine, not the silence of held breath. The pressure was real, not the weight of someone else's hopes or fears. I moved deeper into the matrix, feeling my way slowly, because finding a path through this jumble of chaos and order was different from any reef work I'd done. I began to take the wild unpredictability of the reef matrix for granted, began to wear the field suit like a skin. There was a kind of freedom to never knowing what you'd find next, as pure in its way as the rapture that took me sometimes when I'd encounter enigmas that spoke to me in a voice no one else would ever hear. But this time the way to the unknown was roadblocked by barriers of shattered celluloid and composite, barred with molysteel, inorganic materials so dense that they were beyond the phase range of my suit, impenetrable even for me. It was hard to believe they'd been fragmented by an explosion no bigger than this one, that the explosion had turned the whole complex into a smoking crater. Unless the construction materials used to build the installation had been up to specs, had flawed to begin with, had been one more suicidal mistake that Tao had taken for granted, had taken for a good idea. I worked my way up to a fractured slab of ceiling, kicked off like a swimmer into the shimmering jelly of pulverized cloud reef until I'd risen past it. I stopped moving again, drifting deeper into the matrix, letting its silence and strength surround me, shield me from the world I left behind. The reef's presence had been rattling against my brain like pebbles against a window pane since the moment I touched its face. Now, finally, I was secure enough to open all the windows into my mind, let my body go slack, emptying my mind of every thought I carried with me to the matrix, until there was only sensation. The silence was filled with light. I smelled music with every breath. My eyes saw the transcendence radiance of unimaginable wavelengths as all my senses flowed out into the matrix of the reef. It would have been easy to lose myself then, but even the itching sand grain of someone else's desperation that had driven me to this sublime way. With an effort of will, I stopped the bleeding of my consciousness and forced myself to remember who counted on the outcome of what I did here. Joby. Joby would lose his mother if I lost my way. The investigators Isplanaski had sent to dig out the rock beneath Tal's lies would never have the chance to tell anyone what they'd found. And I'd never sleep again if I thought my own prejudice and bitterness had kept me from finding any survivors. If there were any survivors, I cast the net of my psi out in a slow scan, feeling my sense of control grow as I searched the metaphorical, darkened room for the faintest gleam of a human thought. But this darkened room was in a madhouse, where nothing met anything else at the expected angle, where stairways of complex hydrocarbons led to impenetrable ceilings of celluloid, doorways opened onto nothingness, or walls, a death trap of illusions for any searcher who let his attention wander too far. But as I worked my way deeper, old memories stirred, memories of the time I'd been a real telepath, when I'd been good, one of the best. If anyone could find them, I could. If there were any survivors still alive, they had to be here somewhere. Somewhere. There. I caught the quick silver flash of a mind radiant with pain. I lunged after it as the contact slipped away, following it back to a storm rack of alien sensation, not letting go because I couldn't afford to lose it now, not when I was so close. There. Contact charged my senses, sent my psi-link arcing from the core of my mind to another. Terror, pain, grief. 3. Only 3? How many people had gone in here? A lot more than 3. I didn't know the feel of any of these minds, never had been inside of them. Couldn't tell whether they belonged to anyone I'd ever met because there wasn't a coherent thought in any of them. Raw emotion was screaming through my brain, and all it told me was that they were running out of time. I didn't try to contact them telepathically, knowing they'd only panic. I clung to the fragile thread of thought that linked me to their location, while my mind backtracked through the maze of jumbled leaf strata to complete the circuit, contacting a mind on the outside that would anchor me, let me reel myself in. I found Natasha. Maybe because he was standing the closest. Maybe because he was the only one who wanted me to find him. I felt him recoil as if the contact had been physical. Following the compass of his shock, I retraced my path through the techno-organic maze until I fell through into the open again. Natasha caught me and steadied me as the suit deactivated. He was still in my head, not by choice, breaking the leaf spell, demanding answers. Found them? He was asking. You found them? Found them. Found. I shook my head, trying to clear out the echoes. Held up my hands, nodding frantically, as I saw the look on his face. I loosened my helmet and pulled it off. Survivors. Only 3.
No.
3? He repeated. 3. Damn it, 27 people went in there. I looked down, grimacing. My wife? I don't know, I murmured. I couldn't. I broke off, feeling frustration crushes grief into anger. I cut the contact between us, shutting him out of my mind. Are you saying, if your wife is dead, then you don't care whether anyone else trapped in there survives?
Quit, Merlin.
He blinked, and the kind of anger on his face changed. No, he said. No, of course not. How far in are they? Just a minute, someone said behind him. The FTA officials who had been talking to Protz when I went in gathered around us. Protz was still with them. What about the FTA's people? Are they all dead? I didn't have to be a mind reader to know that they were what they were really asking. If the feds had been killed in the explosion, it was going to look bad for Tao, but they might still be able to cover it up. The feds were alive, there was no hope of burying any of their mistakes. Not the big ones, not the small ones. I don't know who survived, I said, trying to keep my voice even. I only know there are people in there who are still alive. Path. The crowd was gathering around us, more guards and workers waiting for orders. He's crippled, damn it, Trot said. He's not a mind reader. He can read the reefs, Ixpa said. I turned, surprised to see her pushing through the crowd. We never had anyone here who could do that before him. Why the hell did you pull him out of there just as he detected that anomaly? There were murmurs from the workers gathering around us, but I couldn't tell what their mood was. Ixpa looked away from Frotz as if she really didn't expect an answer. How do you want us to proceed, sir? She directed the question at Sandusky, including me with a nod of her head. We're doing everything we can. Sandusky gestured as if he was brushing aside smoke. There's no more we can do until the equipment is back online. He glanced over his shoulder at the crew still trying to clear away debris with equipment that only did what they expected it to about a third of the time. That will take hours. I don't think you have hours, Sandusky, I said. He looked at me with no recognition, only a kind of disbelief, as if I'd forgotten what I was to be speaking to him like that. I turned back to Ixpa. Can I take any equipment with me when I'm wearing the phase suit? What kind? She asked, looking dubious. Other phase suits, 3 of them. Well, yeah, she said. Understanding lit up her face. Yeah, I don't see why not. You think you can actually reach them? Lead them out? I shrugged. I want to try. Ixpa signaled to one of the workers standing beside her. Give me some more face suits. Wait a minute, Sandusky said, frowning. You can't do that. All around me, surprised faces turned to stare at him. Why not? Ixpa said. It could work. Sandusky pursed his mouth. He looked like a man standing on a hot plate. It's too dangerous. I don't want to risk losing another life in there. He pointed at the rubble, trying to look as though it actually mattered to him whether I lived or died. I volunteered, I said. I'm willing to risk it. I can reach them. We don't know if it's our people who survived, Frotz protested. We only have this half-breed's word that anyone is alive in there at all. Sandusky glanced at Frotz, his mouth working. Excuse me, sir, Natasha said. Is he saying that if the survivors are feds, we should let them die for the good of the Keiretsu? That just because we're not sure who it is, we have to let them die? The muttering around us got louder. My wife is in there, sir, Natasha said. I don't know if she's dead or alive, but it's not Keiretsu to bury our own people just because they might be outsiders. And the outsiders might know too much. The Keiretsu is family. Sandusky's face reddened. He glanced at Frotz again, looked away as workers arrived carrying the phase suits Ixpa had sent for. Ixpa handed me my helmet. I put it on. She passed me the other suits, one at a time. Carry them as close to your body as you can, Ixpa said. I should keep them inside your phase field. She bent her head at the waiting matrix. I started forward, carrying the extra suits, watching Sandusky and Frotz from the corner of my eye. The stairs got darker as I reached the broken reface. But without my noticing it, without Natasha saying a word, a flank of guards and workers had formed around me, protecting me from any interference. Keiretsu. I reached the barrier of broken dreams and stepped through. I let the reef flow into my mind again. It was easier this time because the anger I had taken with me into the reef before was gone. Easier because I knew that I could do what I had to. As I let myself feel the reef, I realized that the shining trace of my contact with the survivors still existed, like a wormhole through space, relieved and a little odd. I followed it to its end without stopping. I burst through the matrix wall into the tiny vacuole where 3 survivors huddled under the accidental shelter of a panel of unbroken composite. I felt the shock wave of their disbelief as they saw me emerge from the reef and possibly in front of them. They gaped and cowered as if I was some manifestation of the disaster come to finish what the explosion had started. "I've come to get you out of here," I said, trying to choose the words I would pull them back to reason the fastest. I couldn't tell how my voice sounded to them, whether the words were even intelligible. I held the suits up, letting them see what I had, while I searched their filthy, dazed faces for one I knew. Ling Natasha wasn't there. I didn't recognize any of them, though one of them wore what had been an FTA uniform. Thank God. The Fed pushed himself to his feet, protecting an arm that bent at an unnatural angle. His face was gray-white with pain under the dirt and blood. "How?" he mumbled. "Where?" I smiled. "Splanaski sent me." He gaped. The other 2 still crouched, staring at us as if they'd been put in stasis. "Come on," I said softly. "I've got phase suits for you. I'll lead you out." Splanaski's man took a suit and began to put it on, while I got the woman wearing a vacant stare and a guard's data patch in the second suit. Together we got the 3rd survivor suited up, a Bondi with a gouge in his face that had probably taken out one of his eyes. He wasn't any older than I was. I tried not to look at his face, tried not to see what else they'd been looking at ever since they'd been trapped here. A foot, an arm, protruding from the avalanche of rubble. I was standing in a pool of blood that didn't seem to have come from any of them. I swallowed down nausea, forcing myself to focus my sigh for one last sweep, searching for any survivors I might have missed. There weren't any. "These suits are malfunctioning," the Fed protested, as the oxygen processes began to clear out his lungs. His brain functions normalized. He was staring at the garbage readouts inside his helmet. "It's all right," I said, trying to give him my words the kind of assurance he needed to hear. "I'll lead you out. You only have to follow me." "Your suit is online?" he demanded. "Yeah," I said, not looking at him. "It's online. Let's go." I held out my hand again, and the Fed took it. He put out his hand in turn, taking hold of the Bondi. The guard took the laborer's other hand. They pulled him forward, carefully, as I led them to the wall of rubble. He came with us, as witless as a drone, but at least he came. I waded into the reef face again, leading them after me one by one. Relief filled me as I found the mind-lit wormhole of my passage still waiting to guide us back through the matrix. It was hard enough to keep track of the others as they floundered after me, slowed by their injuries, by shock, by inexperience. I almost lost someone more than once as we blundered through nightmarish pockets of random density, and what was for them mostly pitch-black effluvia. I had to remind myself that they couldn't sense what I sensed. Each time I had to double back to keep one or another of them moving in the right direction. Well, it's actually not much longer. I'm actually coming towards the end. Yes, I apologize. It's a really long chapter. But yeah, I'm getting towards the end. Let's see. I couldn't communicate with them now to guide or reassure them. The suit's comlinks turned everything into unintelligible static. I was glad I didn't have to listen to what they were saying. I knew what they were feeling, and it was all I could do to keep myself moving through their nightmare toward the light. The journey in had been clear and easy. The journey out was by way of another universe, with a side trip through hell. My breath was coming in ragged gasps. I wasn't sure if it was my strength giving out or the suit. I only knew that if I didn't reach the other end of this mental road soon, none of us was going to reach it. And then suddenly, we were through. I staggered out of the reef face, dragging the Fed with me. The others came through behind him and dropped to the floor like stones. I fell on my knees, coughing convulsively as workers and guards swarmed over us, stripping off our helmets and suits, leaving me defenseless against the massive incoherent noise around us. The feedback inside my head. I covered my head with my arms, trying to shut it out. Someone pulled me to my feet, holding my hands away, asking, "Are you all right?" I nodded blindly. He led me out of the crush of over-solicitous bodies. I opened my eyes again finally to Natasha's face, realizing as I did why I hadn't wanted to see it. "You didn't find her," he whispered. It wasn't an accusation. It wasn't even a question. His resignation pooled on the surface of a grief deeper than time. "She's gone." I nodded, swallowing hard as I choked down his emotions. The three I brought out, they were it. I bent my head in the direction of the survivors. They were all. At least,
Lay down, Doug.
his voice broke, at least she didn't suffer. He wiped his face with the palm of his hand, thinking, it was the living, the ones left behind who suffered. Joby, she was gone. Mia was gone. Good God, what was he going to do about Joby now? I don't know, and I didn't know what to say. The others were catching up to us now. Natasha wiped at his eyes. I turned to see the Thre supported by a couple of medtechs. I saw him glance away long enough to notice Natasha's red-rimmed eyes before he looked back at me. "I wanted to thank you," he said, his voice hoarse with pain. I nodded, only registering him with part of my attention, the rest still mired in Natasha's grief. I felt my mind beginning to close up inexorably like a fist. "And I want to talk to you. Now." "Sir," one of the medtechs, holding him up, said, "Now we take you to the infirmary and make sure none of your injuries are life-threatening." The Fed looked at her, exasperated, but he didn't argue. He glanced at Natasha. "This Bondi better not have any unfortunate accidents before I'm up and around. You understand me?" Natasha's dark eyes held his stare. "Perfectly." The Fed let the medtechs lead him away. He looked back once as if he wanted to be certain that he remembered my face, or that I hadn't already disappeared.
Dog!
I stood beside Natasha, watching them go, through a silence that was as painful as it was long. Finally, Natasha straightened his shoulders as if he was trying to shrug off the weight of his grief. I couldn't feel his mind anymore. Couldn't see him through his eyes. Nothing showed in his face now. I watched him take something off his equipment belt. He reached out and clamped it around my wrist. I stiffened, starting to pull away until I realized that it wasn't binders. There was a flash of light. A shock ran up my arm. When he took the thing away, I wasn't wearing a bond tag anymore. Instead, there was only my own raw, flayed flesh and the band of 2 fingers circling around my wrist. "Your contract is canceled," Natasha said. I looked at him, not sure whether the pain or the surprise I felt was more intense. Neither one of those came up to the knees of my disbelief. "You can do that?" I whispered. He shrugged, grimacing. It wasn't a valid contract. You should never have been here in the first place. Took a deep breath, let it out. What happens now? His hand settled on his gun. His stare hit 0 degrees Kelvin as he searched the crowd for prots. Now, he said, the shit hits the fan. He sub-vocalized a call, and suddenly 2 guards were pushing through the confusion of bodies. Natasha gestured at me. Take him to the infirmary. Stay with him. But I'm not... He gave me a look. Get his own cared for. Then find out where they put that injured Fed and put him in the next bed. The guards nodded. One of them smiled. No problem. How's Park? Natasha asked. I handed the name on the data match to the guard I brought out. Ved said she'll be all right, sir. Good, Natasha murmured, nodding but looking down.
That door.
Namaste, I murmured. Natasha glanced at me without understanding. As the guards led me away, I looked back,
Thank you.
watching Natasha's progress towards prots. They were out of my line of sight before I could see it happen, but I smiled anyway. And that's the end of Chapter 8, finally. I apologize, it was an extremely long chapter.
It's okay. You did a good job reading it, so.
Well, that took quite a bit of time.
But you survived.
Dreamfall is, it's got long-ass fucking chapters.
Yes, it does.
I can see that.
It's a bulky book.
It is a bulky book. It is indeed.
Can you tell the difference, by the way?
Yes, actually.
Yeah, this one's a lot more crisp. But yeah, holy damn. Endurance listening.
Yeah, that one's a little bit longer.
I imagine the reading part, actually Phoenix did a really good job reading it.
It was pretty fucking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So,
You're welcome, Max. I saw your little post, or you said something like, you could be seen stuffing life support systems into a facsimile of yourself, so I made one.
oh, is Max being creepy over there? In the
He was
corner?
having a good time. Yeah, I made a little version of him down there.
That's cute.
God.
And
Dear
creepy.
Lord.
So, Max, if you're ready, I actually put you next, if not, City.
Daddy spaghetti.
Hey,
I can't hear you, City.
Daddy spaghetti.
Oh, I'm ready to if you need me to now.
Well, it's either you or Max. And Max was just talking, so I swear to fuck, if he just left, I'm gonna break his
He
kneecaps.
said BRB right now.
Did he seriously?
Yes.
Wow.
He said it.
Max's
His legs
kneecaps
do
are...
it.
Bro,
Just
Abyss,
reach him.
how about you shut the fuck up?
Let's just leech him.
Alright, so... Max is forfeit, so now it's City's turn.
Yeah,
And I'm gonna beat Max to death with a bat later.
all.
No, seriously.
City, you're up. Yeah, Max, his entirety is now forfeit. All of him. Max is just
No.
forfeit in barrel.
Alright.
Yep, no, it's too late.
That's why I made a replacement.
Ah, you were thinking like forward,
Max 2.0.
or you were planning something.
Exactly.
Yes, Hal, you can put your fine seasonings on Max and eat him. That'd be great.
First we're
Just
You sure you
linking.
won't-
eat the copy? It's made of fiberglass and asbestos.
Are you sure that Max won't give
Yeah.
you indigestion? Well, Hal's capable of eating
The
tables
original.
and shit, so I think he could eat the doppelganger.
The
now
fiberglass,
you're-
at least, you might want to spit the asbestos out. That doesn't sound healthy.
It's only bad if
Probably
it's
not
in
the
your
best
lungs.
topping. Well, I'm pretty sure you shouldn't eat it either, to be honest.
That
Yeah,
doesn't
I
sound
mean-
like a good plan, honestly.
Just
I would
don't
like
say the-
asbestos salad, please.
Asbestos salad.
I am a little tired tonight, so I'd rather read now
Asbestos
than later,
muffins.
if
I'm
that
breaking
works.
these muffins
Okay,
as best as I can. Sorry.
Said he works. No.
Alright, Seti, you're up, boy.
Okay. So last time I began reading a book published in 1939, taking place in 1920s, I think, after the Armenian genocide. It takes place in Greece and Turkey and the whole Euxine area. Istanbul, I think, at some point. It's called The Coffin for Demetrios. It's by Eric Ambler. In Chapter 1, we were introduced to the protagonist's name is Latimer. And Latimer is a professor who ended up, a professor of economics who ended up publishing detective stories, and he did rather well at it. So he quit his job. He took sick, and he's now on a holiday in the sunny areas of Turkey, I guess. And he met a gentleman at a party who happens to be the captain of the Turkish secret police, Colonel. Good night, Flying. And so this is how the last chapter ended. For a moment, Latimer had an uncomfortable suspicion that though the man across the desk appeared to be looking at his tie, he was actually looking into his mind. Then the Colonel's eyes moved upward, and he grinned slightly in a way that made Latimer feel as if he had been caught stealing something. He said, "I wonder if you are interested in real murderers, Mr. Latimer." And so, on to Chapter 2. Let me just gauge how long this is, just so... the chapters in this one are not terribly long. Okay, it's like 10 pages long. Shouldn't be bad. Okay, so, Chapter 2. The Dossier of Demetrios. Latimer felt himself redden. From the condescending professional, he had been changed suddenly into the ridiculous amateur. It was a little disconcerting. "Well, yes," he said slowly. "I suppose I am." Colonel Huckey pursed his lips. "You know, Mr. Latimer," he said, "I find the murderer in a roman policier much more sympathetic than a real murderer. In a roman policier, there is a corpse, a number of suspects, a detective, and a gallows. That is artistic. A real murderer is not artistic. I, who am a sort of policeman, tell you that squarely." He tapped the folder on his desk. "Here is a real murderer. We have known of his existence for nearly 20 years. This is his dossier. We know of one murder he may have committed. There are doubtless others which we, at any rate, know nothing. This man is typical. A dirty type, common cowardly scum. Murder, espionage, drugs, that is the history. There were also 2 affairs of assassination. Assassination? That argues a certain courage, surely." The Colonel laughed unpleasantly. "My dear friend Demetrios would have nothing to do with the actual shooting. No, his kind never risk their skins like that. They stay on the fringe of the plot. They are the professionals, the entrepreneurs, the links between the businessmen, the politicians who desire the end but are afraid of the mean, and the fanatics, the idealists who are prepared to die for their convictions. The important thing to know about an assassination, or an attempted assassination, is not who fired the shot, but who paid for the bullet. It is rats like Demetrius who can best tell you that. They are always ready to talk to save themselves the inconvenience of a prison cell. Demetrios would have been the same as any other. Courage!" He laughed.
What the fuck is making that noise? Because it needs to go away now.
Yes.
I think it's an object.
Can we... Thank you.
It's
Yes, I agree, Howitzer.
Something was making
Just go
noise.
with fire.
Yeah,
It's right
you
here.
spawned something that was a loop of some sort of music of
Yes.
some sort of variety.
Sorry,
That's okay.
I didn't even hear it.
That's okay. Maybe that was the top hat.
It was an accident. Okay, let's move on.
Yeah,
Resuming.
again. Demetrios was a little cleverer than some of them, I'll grant you that. As far as I know, no government has ever caught him. There's no photograph in his dossier. But we know him all right, and so did Sofia and Belgrade and Paris and Athens. He was a great traveler, was Demetrios. That sounds as though he's dead. Yes, he is dead. Colonel Huckey turned the corners of his thin mouth down contemptuously. A fisherman pulled his body out of Bosphorus last night. It is believed that he had been knifed and thrown overboard from the ship. Like the scum he was floating. At least, said Latimer, he died by violence. That is something very like justice. Ah, the colonel leaned forward. There is a right of speaking. Everything must be tidy, artistic, like a roman policier. Very well. He pulled the dossier toward him and opened it. Just listen, Mr. Latimer, to this. Then you shall tell me if it is artistic. He began to read. Demetrios Macropoulos. He stopped and looked up. We have never been able to find out whether that was the surname of the family that adopted him or an alias. He was known usually as Demetrios. He turned to the dossier again. Demetrios Macropoulos, born 1889 in Larissa, Greece. Found abandoned, parents unknown. Mother believed Romanian. Registered as Greek subject and adopted by Greek family. Criminal record with Greek authorities. Details unobtainable. He looked up at Latimer. That was before he came to our notice. We first heard of him at Izmir in which is also known as Smyrna these days, by the way. There's actually an awesome little footnote here. In 1922, a few days after our troops occupied the town, a Dunma, which is actually a Jew turned Muslim, apparently, named Sholem, was found in his room with his throat cut. He was a moneylender and kept his money under the floorboards. These were ripped up and the money had been taken. There was much violence in Izmir at that time, and little notice would have been taken by the military authorities. The thing might have been done by one of our soldiers. Then, another Jew, a relation of Sholem's, drew the attention of the military to a Negro, and this is old, so it does use this language, not that most people, I think, would mind that, because we've dealt with stuff like this before, named Idris Mohammed, who had been spending... Yes, none of you are birds, so... by a Negro named Idris Mohammed, who had been spending money in the cafes and boasting that a Jew had lent him the money without interest, which, if anybody knows, is absolutely absurd. Inquiries were made, and Idris was arrested. His replies to the court-martial were unsatisfactory, and he was condemned to death. Then, confession. He was a fig packer. That's not a euphemism. And he said that one of his fellow workmen, whom he called Demetrios, had told him of Sholem's wealth hidden under the floorboards of his room. They had planned the robbery together and entered Sholem's room by night. It had been Demetrios, he said, who'd killed the Jew. He thought that Demetrios, being registered as a Greek, had escaped and bought passage on one of the refugee ships and waited at secret places along the coast. He shrugged. The authorities did not believe his story. We were at war with Greece, and it was the sort of story a guilty man might invent his neck. They found that there had been a fig packer named Demetrios, and that his fellow workmen had disliked him, and that he had disappeared. He grinned. Quite a lot of Greeks named Demetrios disappeared during that time. Which was the Greek exodus of the peninsula, if you weren't tracking history. You know, all the Turks and the shoot, shoot, bang, bang and stuff. Quite a lot of Greeks named Demetrios had disappeared at that time. You could see their bodies in the streets and floating in the harbor. This Negro's story was unprovable. He was hanged. He paused. During this recital, he had not once referred to the open dossier. You have a very good memory for facts, commented Latimer. The colonel grinned again. I was the president of the court-martial. It was through that I was able to mark down Demetrios later on. I was transferred a year later to the secret police period. In 1924, a plot to assassinate the Ghazi was discovered. It was the year he abolished the caliphate, and the plot was outwardly the work of a group of religious fanatics. Actually, the men behind it were agents of some people in the good graces of a neighboring friend of the government. They had good reasons for wishing the Ghazi out of the way. The plot was discovered. The details are unimportant. But one of the agents who escaped was a man known as Demetrios. He pushed his cigarettes toward Latimer. Please smoke. Latimer shook his head. Was it the same Demetrios? It was. Now, tell me frankly, Mr. Latimer, do you find anything artistic there? Could you make a good roman policier out of that? Is there anything that could be of the slightest interest to a writer? police work interests me a great deal, naturally. But what happened to Demetrios? How did the story end? Colonel Haki snapped his fingers. Ah, I was waiting for you to ask that. I knew you would ask it. And my answer is this. It didn't end. Then what happened? I will tell you. The first problem was to identify Demetrios of Izmir with Demetrios of Edirne, which is also known as Adrianople. Accordingly, we revived the affair of Sholem, issued a warrant for the arrest of a Greek fig packer named Demetrios on the charge of murder, and with that excuse asked the foreign police authorities for assistance. We did not learn much, but what we did learn was sufficient. Demetrios had been concerned with the attempted assassination of Stambulisky in Bulgaria, which had preceded the Macedonian officer's push in 1923. The Sofia police knew very little, but that he was known there to be a Greek from Izmir. A woman with whom he had associated in Sofia was questioned. She stated that she had had a letter from him a short time before. He had given no address, but as she had very urgent reasons for wishing to get in touch with him, she had looked at the postmark. It was from Edirne. The Sofia police obtained a rough description of him that agreed with that given by the Negro in Izmir. The Greek police stated that he had a criminal record prior to 1922 and gave the particulars of his origin. The warrant is probably still in existence, but we did not find Demetrios with it. It was not until 2 years later that we heard him again. We received an inquiry from the Yugoslav government concerning a Turkish subject named Demetrios Talat. He was wanted, they said, for robbery, but an agent of ours in Belgrade reported that the robbery was the theft of some secret naval documents, that the charge the Yugoslavs hoped to bring against him was one of espionage on behalf of France. By the first name and the description issued by the Belgrade police, we guessed that Talat was actually Demetrios of Izmir. About the same time, our consul in Switzerland renewed the passport, issued apparently at Ankara, of a man named Talat. It is a common Turkish name, but when it comes to entering the record of renewal, it was found from the number that no such passport had been issued. The passport had been forged. He spread out his hands. You see, Mr. Talat, there is your story. Incomplete, inartistic, no detection, no suspects, no hidden motives, merely sordid. But interesting nonetheless, objected Latimer. What happened over the Talat business? Still looking for the end of your story, Mr. Latimer. All right, then. Nothing happened about Talat. It was just a name. We never heard it again. If he used the passport, we don't know. It does not matter. We have Demetrius. A corpse, it is true, but we have him. We shall probably never know who killed him. The ordinary police will doubtless make their inquiries and report to us that they have no hope of discovering the murderer. The dossier will go into the archives. It is just one of many similar cases. You said something about drugs. Colonel Haki began to look bored. Oh, yes. Demetrios made a lot of money once, I should think. Another unfinished story. About 3 years after the Belgrade affair, we heard of him again. Nothing to do with us, but the available information was added to the dossier as a routine matter. He referred to the dossier. In 1929, the League of Nations Advisory Committee on the Illicit Traffic of Drugs received a report from the French government concerning the seizure of a large quantity of heroin at the Swiss frontier. It was concealed in a mattress in a sleeping car coming from Sofia. One of the car attendants was found to be responsible for the smuggling, but all he could or would tell the police is that the drug was to have been collected in Paris by a man who worked at the rail terminus. He did not know the man's name, and he had never spoken to him, but he later described him. The man in question was later arrested. Questioned, he admitted the charge, but claimed that he knew nothing of the destination of the drug. He received one consignment a month, which was collected by a third man. The police set a trap for this third man, and caught only to find that there was a fourth intermediary. They arrested 6 men in all in connection with that affair, and only obtained one real clue. It was that the man at the head of this peddling organization was known as Demetrios. Through the medium of the committee, the Bulgarian government revealed that they had found a clandestine heroin laboratory at Radomir and had seized 230 kilos of heroin ready for delivery. The consignee's name was Demetrios. During the next year, the French succeeded in discovering 1 or 2 other large heroin consignments bound for Demetrios. But they did not get very much nearer to Demetrios himself. There were difficulties. The stuff never seemed to come in the same way twice, and by the end of the year, 1930, all they had to show in the way of arrests were a number of smugglers and some insignificant peddlers. Judging by the amounts of heroin they did find, Demetrios must have been making huge sums of money for himself. Then, quite suddenly, about a year after that, Demetrios went out of the drug business. First news the police had of this was an anonymous letter which gave the names of all the principal members of the gang, their life histories, and details of how evidence against every one of them might be obtained. The French police had a theory at the time. They said that Demetrios himself had become a heroin addict. Whether this is true or not, the fact is that by December, the gang was rounded up. One of them, a woman, was already wanted for fraud. Some of them threatened to kill Demetrios when they were released from prison, but the most any of them could tell the police about him was that his surname was Macropolos, and that he had a flat in the 17th arrondissement. They never found the flat, and they never found Demetrios. The clerk had come in and was standing by the desk. "Ah," said the colonel, "here is your copy." Which is the colonel's very pathetic fan fiction of detective stories, which is kind of embarrassing if you weren't here last time. And he's obsessed with giving it to this author because he's an actual detective writer. Latimer took it and thanked him rather absently. And that was the last you heard of Demetrios? He asked. "Oh, no. The last we heard of him was about a year later. A Croat attempted to assassinate a Yugoslav politician in Zagreb. In the confession he made to the police, he said that friends had obtained the pistol he used from a man named Demetrios in Rome. If it was Demetrios of Izmir, he must have returned to his old profession, a dirty type. There are more than a few of him who should float in the Bosphorus. You say you never had a photograph of him. How, then, did you identify him?" "There was a French carte d'identité sewn inside the lining of his coat.
No, dog.
It was issued about a year ago at Lyons to Demetrios Macropolos. It is a visitor's card, and he is described as being without occupation. That might mean anything. There was, of course, a photograph in it. We've turned it over to the French. They say that it is quite genuine." He pushed the dossier aside and stood up. "There's an inquest. I have to go and take a look at the body in the police mortuary. That is a thing you don't have to contend with in the books, Mr. Latimer. A list of regulations. A man is found floating in the Bosphorus. A police matter, clearly. But because this man happens to be on my files, my organization has to deal with it as well. I have my car waiting. Can I take you anywhere? If my hotel isn't too much out of your way, I should like to be taken there." "Of course. You have the plot of your new book safely? Good. Then we are ready." In the car, the colonel elaborated on the virtues of the clue of the blood-stained will. Latimer promised to keep in touch with him and let him know how the book progressed. The car pulled up outside his hotel. They had exchanged farewells, and Latimer was about to get out when he hesitated and then dropped back into the seat. "Look here, Colonel," he said. I want to make what will seem to you a rather strange request." The colonel gestured expansively. "Anything." "I have a fancy to see the body of this man Demetrios. I wonder if it would be impossible for you to take me with you." The colonel frowned, and then shrugged. "If you wish to come, by all means do so, but I do not see—" "I have never," lied Latimer quickly, "seen a dead man or a mortuary. I think that every detective story writer should see those things." The colonel's face cleared. "My dear fellow, of course he should. One cannot write about that which he has never seen." He signaled the chauffeur on. "Perhaps," he added, as they drove off again, "we can incorporate a scene in the mortuary in your book. I will think about it." The mortuary was a small, corrugated iron building in the precincts of a police station near the Mosque of Nuri Osmania. A police official, collected en route by the colonel, led them across the yard which separated it from the main building. The afternoon heat had set the air above the concrete quivering. Latimer began to wish that he had not come. It was not the weather for visiting corrugated iron mortuaries. The official unlocked the door and opened it. A blast of hot, carbolic-laden air came out, as from an oven, to meet them. Latimer took off his hat and followed the colonel in. There were no windows, and the light was supplied by a single high-powered electric lamp and an enamel reflector. On each side of of a gangway which ran down the center, there were 4 high wooden trestle tables. All but 3 of them were bare. The other 3 were draped with stiff, heavy tarpaulins which bulged slightly above the level of the other trestles. The heat was overpowering, and Latimer felt the sweat begin to soak into his shirt and trickle down his legs. "It's very hot," he said. The colonel shrugged and nodded towards the trestles. "They don't complain." The official went to the nearest of the 3 trestles, leaned over it, and dragged the tarpaulin back. The colonel walked over and looked down. Latimer forced himself to follow. The body lying on the trestle was that of a short, broad-shouldered man of about 50. From where he stood near the foot of the table, Latimer could see very little of the face, only a section of putty-colored flesh and a fringe of tousled gray hair. The body was wrapped in a mackintosh sheet. By the feet was a neat pile of crumpled clothing, some underwear, a shirt, socks, a flowered tie, and a blue serge suit stained nearly gray by seawater. Beside this pile was a pair of narrow pointed shoes, the soles of which had warped as they had dried. Latimer took a step nearer so that he could see the face. No one had troubled to close the eyes, and the whites still stared upwards at the light. The lower jaw had dropped slightly. It was not the face that Latimer had pictured, rather rounder, with thick lips instead of thin, a face that would work and quiver under the stress of emotion. The cheeks were loose and deeply lined, but it was too late now to form any judgment of the mind that had once been behind the face. The mind had gone. The official had been speaking to the colonel. Now he stopped. Killed by a knife wound in the stomach, according to the doctor, translated the colonel. Already dead when he got into the water. Where did the clothes come from? Lyons, except for the suit and shoes, which are Greek. Poor stuff. He renewed his conversation with the official. Latimer stared at the corpse. So this was Demetrios. This was the man who had perhaps slit the throat of Sholem, the Jew turned Muslim. This was the man who had connived at assassinations who had split for France. This is the man who had trafficked in drugs, who had given a gun to a Crow terrorist, and who, in the end, had himself died by violence. This putty-colored bulk was the end of an odyssey. Demetrios had returned at last to the country whence he had set out so many years before. So many years. Europe in labor had through its pains seen for an instant a new glory, and then collapsed to welter again in the agonies of war and fear. Governments had risen and fallen, men and women had worked, and had starved, had made speeches, had fought, had been tortured, had died. Hope had come and gone, a fugitive in the scented bosom of illusion. Men had learned to sniff the heady dream stuff of the soul and wait impassively while the lathes turned the guns for their destruction. And through those years, Demetrios had lived and breathed and come to terms with his strange gods. He had been a dangerous man, and then in the loneliness of death, beside the squalid pile of clothes that was his estate, he was pitiable. Latimer watched the 2 men as they discussed the filling in of a printed form the official had produced. They turned to the clothes and began making an inventory of them. Yet, at some time, Demetrios had made money, much money. What had happened to it? Had he spent it or lost it? Easy come, easy go, they said. But had Demetrios been the sort of man to let money go easily, howsoever he had acquired it? They knew so little about him. A few odd facts about a few odd incidents in his life, and that was all the dossier amounted to. No more. It told you nothing. It told you that he had been unscrupulous, ruthless, and treacherous. It told you that his way of life had been consistently criminal. But it did not tell you anything that enabled you to see the living man who had slit Sholem's throat, who had lived in a flat in Paris 17. And for every one of the crimes recorded in the dossier, there must have been others, perhaps even more serious. What had happened to those in those 2- and 3-year intervals which the dossier bridged so casually? And what had happened since he had been in Lyons a year ago? By what route had he traveled to keep his appointment with Nemesis, being the Greek goddess of, They were not questions that Colonel Haki would even bother to ask, so much less answer. He was a professional, concerned only with the unfanciful business of disposing of a decomposing body. But there must be people who knew of Demetrios, his friends, if he had any, his enemies, people in Smyrna, people in Sofia, people in Belgrade, in Adrianople, in Paris, and Lyons, people all over Europe who could answer them. If you could find those people and get those answers, you would have the material for what would surely be the strangest of biographies. Latimer's heart missed a beat. It would be an absurd thing to attempt, of course. Unthinkably foolish. If one did it, one would begin with, say, Smyrna, and try to follow one's man step by step from there, using the dossier as a rough guide. It would be an experiment in detection, really. One would, no doubt, fail to discover anything new, but there would be valuable data to be gained even from failure. All the routine inquiries over which one skated so easily in one's novels one would have to make oneself. Not that any man in his senses would dream of going on such a wild goose chase, heavens no. But it was amusing to play with the idea, and if one were a little tired of Istanbul... He looked up and caught the Colonel's eye. The Colonel grimaced, a reference to the heat of the place. He had finished his business with the official. "Have you seen all you wanted to see?" Latimer nodded. Colonel Hickey turned and looked at the body, as if it were a piece of his own handiwork, of which he was taking leave. For a moment or two, he remained motionless. Then his right arm went out. Grasping the dead man's hair, he lifted up the head so that the sightless eyes stared into his. "Ugly devil, isn't he?" he said. "Life is very strange. I've known about him for nearly 20 years, and this is the first time I've met him face to face. Those eyes have seen some things I should like to see. It is a pity that the mouth can never speak about it." He let the head go, and it dropped back with a thud onto the table. Then he drew out his silk handkerchief and wiped his fingers carefully. "The sooner he's in the coffin, the better," he added, as they walked away. Chapter 2.
Oh,
I like that dramatic
that
book close gesture.
just done.
Slap.
Book is very interesting.
Yeah, it is good. Yeah.
It's
I thought that you guys would find it kind of interesting.
it is
I
indeed.
find that enthralling. I'm just like I regret missing the first chapter, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, there's a quote I need to read you from the first chapter because it is absolutely charming.
Please.
For Madame Chavez, the road from Buenos Aires had been as liberally paved with gold as the road to it. A very handsome Turkish woman, she had successfully married and divorced a wealthy Argentine meat broker and, with a fraction of her gains from these transactions, had purchased a small palace which had once housed minor Turkish royalty. Yeah.
Oh,
I just love how it's successfully married and divorced and then referring to them as transactions.
yes.
Yes.
Because that's how you do.
She's like a
Yep.
fucking husband's
Gold
broker.
digger. Husband broker. Alright.
Argentine
Well,
broker.
and with that, it's your turn, Max.
It's the final countdown. That's how it goes, right?
Yes. No, stop that. You fucking stop that right now. No!
It's the final countdown.
Stop! No!
Countdown.
Stop! Please! God. You're a son of a bitch.
Oh god. No.
That doesn't work anymore, you guys. I told you that.
It's still
Oh,
funny.
before we begin, I'm going to grab something to do because
Oh, okay.
Regretfully sober. Actually, I will too, BRB.
I would take like 5 seconds or so. Just
No, don't lick me. Now I have urine slobber. Does it have magical properties? Yeah. great. Well, now I'm turbo lucky. Careful, it could start to crystallize. Oh shit. Does that happen? Is that a side effect? Talk to your doctor if you experience crystallization. You have to bathe in the crystal pools a while. Oh! Okay, cool. So a little crystal cured spit won't turn me into a crystal. Good. Max, who are you going to get to read the third thing? Wait, didn't we already...
On a jig.
Wait, what? Okay. I'm just
Who?
confused.
Confused what?
Nothing.
I
This is
am.
a thing that is happening.
Wait. What's going on?
There's a third. Who are you having play the third person, Max?
Okay, I need a third reader.
Who's
You
gonna be
probably
the
should
third
have-
reader?
Why not?
Golems. Yes.
I guess he's Ace then.
Am I an attorney?
No, you're a
I am
spaceman.
an attorney. I'm
No, you're a
spaceman.
Yes. Oh God, what the fuck? Up.
Can I be Major Tom? Who's going to be ground control?
No, that's please.
Yes, let's think.
No, let's focus. It's
Let's
not
not
time for
sing
after
then.
hours yet.
Okay.
Calm down.
All
Calm
right,
down.
hang on, I gotta open it up and read it.
Well,
So we have our lines.
you're Ace. I'm Soto Giegers Ramirez, and Max is the narrator.
Okay, so I'm Ace. I need to look at
Yes.
Ace's parts.
Yes.
Yes, it's not for a while
Ooh.
down, so.
Okay. I'm ready.
I'm ready. Well,
I don't see Ace.
he's
Ace,
he's a while down. You'll sing when we get
scroll
there.
down like a little bit. There is like there.
It's down there. Wait.
Yeah, it starts further down.
Max.
Next.
Lay
Next,
down, dog.
we are going to.
Despite
Okay.
fulfilling
I
all
see
of their-
Ortega,
Lay
narrator,
down,
and
dog.
Soto.
Dog. Come here.
No,
I
you
gave you
need
the
to
wrong
scroll
one.
down.
Lay down.
I gave you
Oh.
the wrong one.
You gave him the wrong one, you dingus.
Oh, that's why.
I'm like, what are
That's
you
the
talking about?
director.
It's right there.
Lay down, dog.
Max is good at this game.
Oh, I could tell.
Because I got one named
Oh,
the
look,
integrated
there it
pilot.
is.
I got one named the
Oh.
integrated pilot and one named the integrated co-pilot. Look about the same.
You probably should have thought about that.
You shouldn't name this one Mom Spaghetti.
Anyway.
Okay. Now we're good.
Despite fulfilling all their duties and saying whatever needed to be said, Soto had been a new.
Hello?
Max?
You cut out.
Now he's dead. This is great.
Rip and pepper.
Finally, Soto's avatar approached Mira's on their lunch break.
Let me guess. More information desired.
That is correct, Ramirez.
Max?
Ground control
Right.
to Major Max.
Ground control. Max? Max, we're dying here.
God damn it.
Max, if you're having connection issues, I could read the narrator part if you really need me to.
Calm
Not
down,
to be
Hal.
presumptuous, but
Calm down, Hal.
Yeah, I mean,
Thank you.
setting the book cover for you.
or anybody
Maybe
else.
if I cut out during this next sentence or something.
Okay.
Okay.
Ramirez produced the storage. God damn it! Ramirez produced the data storage device from earlier and handed it to Soto. Soto read the contents of the device and immediately started playing a video marked "Soto, watch this burst." 0G sleeping bag with our name on it. Soto paused the video.
More information desired, Ramirez.
Yeah, I'm starting to get deja vu myself. Ramirez was unfazed.
Just keep watching it, Soto. It will explain a lot. Next. Next.
It's going so good. This is going so good.
Next. So good. Next. Next.
Out again.
Next. Next.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to be able to read this, Max.
Next.
Can't tell how bad it is. So, okay, Seti, read.
It's really bad.
I don't.
It's really bad.
Technical.
You might want to give him the fucking note card if you want him to read it.
I think.
Okay. Ramirez was.
Yeah.
No, it's Soto. It's Soto resumed the video. Is where you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Soto resumed the video. Ramirez was asleep in a 0G sleeping bag with their name on it. An annotation faded into view. Day 41 of Experiment 1, Level 1 AI Integration Test, 01:25 a.m. ship local time. The annotation faded out and Ramirez began to narrate.
When Delstein Unlimited asked me to be a test subject in an experiment involving artificial intelligence, I was hesitant to say yes. AI was, and still is, not seen as trustworthy by the general public, considering now the failures that had occurred over the past few years. I could see why, but an opportunity like this doesn't come up often. So there I was pretending to trust an AI with my life.
A small airborne robot marked AOTC flew up to Ramirez with a set of buffeted propellers. An annotation identified the robot as the Artificial Operations Technician and Co-Pilot.
Pilot Ramirez, sir.
Ramirez woke up and rubbed their eyes, then looked at the robot.
Oh, it's a robot,
Yes.
sorry. Micrometeorite cloud in, sir.
Ramirez stretched in their sleeping bag, then unzipped the bag, and quickly navigated 10 feet to the front of the ship and rolled into the seat. Buckling themselves in and grabbing the controls, Ramirez asked,
Current distance to micrometeorites.
4.7 kilometers in closing.
Twisting the controls and fighting inertia, Ramirez maneuvered the ship about 6 kilometers from its original course in a little under 8 minutes, just in time to avoid a cloud of micrometeorites that would have perforated the ship, as the annotations in a set of graphs explained. Ramirez eased back into the seat and relaxed for a moment.
The little bot seemed to be working as intended. As high-strung as it was, it talked like it was intended for a fighter. In any case, it was getting more rest than I was, with the standard spacecraft computer, and I could tell Ace what I needed without having to rephrase it for their benefit.
Ramirez narrated,
This unit believes that it played an important role in the completion of this mission.
AOTC narrated. As Ramirez removed themselves from the seat, an annotation filled the gap they left. Delstein Unlimited, bringing tomorrow light years closer. Soto's avatar produced a look that seemed unique to it. A more information desired look.
You should know the drill by now. Just watch the next video.
Ramirez was asleep again, in a zero-G sleeping bag with their name on it again. An annotation faded into view again. Day 35 of Experiment 2, Level 2 AI Integration Test, 0614 AM, ship local time. The annotation faded out, and AOTC approached Ramirez.
Pilot Ramirez, sir.
Ramirez woke up.
You have access to the controls, Ace.
Sir, I do not have authorization to pilot the ship myself, sir.
Ramirez unzipped themselves from their sleeping bag and performed a series of acrobatic maneuvers, landing in the seat with a focused look. Strapping themselves in with one hand and twisting the controls with the other, Ramirez maneuvered the ship about 4 kilometers from its original course in a little under 4 minutes, just in time to avoid an asteroid that would have otherwise collided with the ship, as the annotations and a set of graphs explained.
At that point, Ace had stopped being just another experimental AI. They'd become an asset to our co-worker. I trust them to do their job and help them with the things they seem to have difficulty with. If Ace were to ask for promotion, I would have endorsed them. But they were instructed not to ask.
Ramirez narrated.
Sometimes I wonder what would have happened if that limitation were lifted.
There was an indistinct second voice in the narration, and then Ramirez continued.
Oh, apparently that's going to be part of the next experiment. It should be interesting.
Once again, this unit is satisfied with its performance in the completion of this mission.
AOTC narrated. As Ramirez removed themselves from the seat, an annotation filled the gap they left. Delstein Unlimited, bringing tomorrow light years closer. Soto's avatar looked at Ramirez.
Ramirez, you appear to become attached to this AI.
Dr. Finch told me that was a fairly normal thing.
Soto took a moment to assess this, then played the next video. Ramirez was asleep, in a zero-G sleeping bag with their name on it. An annotation faded into view again. Day 57 of Experiment 3, Level 3 AI Integration Test, 2:50 AM, ship local time. The annotation faded out, and AOTC approached Ramirez.
Pilot Ramirez, sir.
Ramirez woke up, rubbing their eyes.
What is it, Ace?
Sir, I would like to inform you that we are about to perform a maneuver that could interrupt your sleep, sir.
Ramirez closed their eyes and tilted their head back.
Maybe I should teach you about irony sometime, Ace.
AOTC paused, then replied.
I appear to have made a mistake, Ramirez, sir. I apologize, sir.
Ramirez sighed and was about to say something when AOTC spoke up.
Engaging thrusters on my mark. Mark!
Cameron.
The contents of the ship shifted as the ship maneuvered about 6 kilometers from its original course in a little under 4 minutes, just in time to avoid another micrometeorite cloud, as the annotations in a set of graphs explained. Ramirez went back to sleep, and AOTC flew off screen.
Trusting Ace to fly the ship in a real situation would have been risky. But it was worth it to be able to sleep after another 18-hour day.
Ramirez narrated.
I'm sure the average person would have done the same, considering the fact that sleep becomes more valuable as one's shift goes on.
AOTC continued the narration.
This is the first time that this unit has been required to pilot the ship alone. This unit was filled with a mixture of emotions that are unfamiliar, and is currently feeling a different mixture of emotions that are unfamiliar. Yet, this mission was a success due to this unit's performance. This unit requires more time to consider, but is satisfied with and encouraged by the results of this mission.
Ramirez finished the narration.
Did Ace do well? Yeah. They did exactly what they needed to do. But they still need to learn a few things, like bedside manner, Ace, if you ever watch this, remember that I'm rooting for you.
The video faded to white, with an annotation. Delstein Unlimited, bringing tomorrow, light years closer. Soto's avatar took a moment to consider. What was this new feeling, this mildly hurtful feeling? Soto took an entire 3/4 of a second to process this and finally found it. Jealousy.
Ramirez, I am envious of your relationship with AOTC.
Jealous? Really?
Yes. You were working exclusively with AOTC in an environment that required both of you to be ignorant of the outside world.
Well, wasn't told about the outside world. No pretending there. As for me, I like most AIs I meet. I've learned to trust and to befriend over the years.
Ramirez seemed to look into a non-existent distance for a moment.
Ace was pretty smart for their time. Today, it'd be considered to be insufficient.
Soto was quiet.
Soto?
I feel somewhat better now, Ramirez. Thank you.
It's the truth, Soto. No need to thank me for it.
Soto noticed one last video, shorter than the others and seemingly set on Earth.
Ramirez, what is this last video about?
It's a pair of interviews that happened about 2 or 3 full experiments after the ones you watched videos about. Nothing really interesting happened in those experiments. But suffice to say it, Ace and I grew closer as Ace became a part of the ship. Being an AI, however, they weren't affected too much by being pulled out of the ship after the experiments. Not as much as Ortega.
Soto played the last video. Ramirez seemed to be in a cramped domestic setting, being interviewed by Dr. Finch.
I'd say the experiments were great. Ace and I got along fairly nicely, and I even got them to be a little more casual after the recording from the last experiment. No more sir, no more military-style shouting, just casual.
And how did you learn to trust Ace, Ramirez?
To begin with, it's worth noting that I didn't have a choice. But it was around halfway into the first experiment and that I realized how much I could trust Ace. Now I trust him with my life.
Finch scribbled a few notes. How would you describe your relationship with Ace?
Well, it started out professional, almost painfully so. But over time it became a lot more like friendship, or at least as close to friendship as you can get with an AI like Ace. Ace has gotten smarter, though, almost human-like.
Finch took notes and then asked, how close would that be exactly? Ramirez pondered.
Very close, but Ace has about the intelligence of an especially sharp child. Smart enough to make good conversation with, but not smart enough to talk about philosophy with.
Finch scribbled some notes. And how have the last few months been?
Well, I know all of Ace's quirks and odd behaviors, so it's been easier for me than it would have been for someone else.
Finch jotted down some more notes and then asked, right, if you had to go through the experiments again, what would you do differently? Ramirez's answer was instant.
I changed my sleep schedule so I could get more sleep per night, and I'd get Ace to chill out in advance of having them fly the ship.
Finch wrote something. Is there anything you'd like to say about the past month of your life with Ace?
Yes, actually. ACE has shown me that an AI can change itself by a surprising amount, going from an AI expecting to serve in the military alongside humans to an AI that can greet and entertain visitors, if any arrive while I'm busy.
Finch finished their notes. Thank you for your time, Ramirez. The video then cut to AOTC, who is being interviewed in a similar situation to Ramirez, but resting on a perch of sorts.
When this unit, excuse me, when I was participating in the experiments, I noted that Ramirez leaned heavily on me. The expectations placed on me were high. I learned so much about myself.
And how would you describe your relationship with Ramirez?
Processing. Like a mentor and student, Ramirez taught me much and encouraged me to learn things myself.
Finch took more notes. And how have the past few months been?
Highly informational. Additionally, Ramirez thinks I have learned to be casual.
Finch jotted down some more notes. If you had to go through the experiments, what would you do differently?
I would most likely have the sensors upgraded so that I or Ramirez could react to danger more quickly.
Finch wrote something, then scratched something out and continued writing. Is there anything you'd like to say about the past month of your life with Ramirez? AOTC was silent.
I have learned much and been in many situations that I could not have foreseen being in during the experiments. Living with Ramirez is fascinating.
Thank you for your time, AOTC.
Please, call me Ace.
The video faded to white with annotation.
Stop.
Delstein Unlimited, bringing tomorrow light years closer.
If you wanted that,
But
you could have
Ramirez,
asked for it.
I see traces of Ace
Going around,
in myself.
You could have asked for it, okay?
Well,
Oh?
you just you started a video.
That shouldn't be
while
much of a
listening.
surprise.
See,
Your hardware profile is based
he loves you,
on the
Sean.
technology that ACE was built to test. ACE is basically your great-great-grandparent.
What became of Ace?
All right, Marlon, go.
As per procedure, Ace's personality was backed up and archived. And their hardware was reused and or recycled for other projects. I have a copy of their personality on file somewhere.
Ramirez, when I am decommissioned, will you keep a copy of my personality on file?
Ramirez smiled.
Of course, Soto. And I might even bring you back when I get it home.
Stop! Merlin, let the dog
Ramirez, more information desired.
Yeah, Soto?
Could I have grandchildren?
Not in the typical sense, but I could always try copying your hardware and software, modifying it, updating
Stop.
it. Maybe someday, when I have the resources.
Stop, dog.
Ramirez daydreamed for a minute before they realized that their lunch break was over.
Serious. Merlin,
Back
stop.
to work. See you around, Soto.
Huh.
That was fun.
Stop.
That was
fun.
highly informational.
Yeah,
It was
I had
pretty
a good
fun.
time.
That explains a lot about Ramirez, actually.
And it was, I don't know if Max did
Merlin,
a Soto
stop. Let the dog be.
last SNR,
Stop.
but
And don't
He didn't.
pinch.
I actually requested that we wait until you were around,
oh,
given that
But-
you're playing Ramirez.
the Ortega one was really dark, and this one was pretty
I wasn't.
pretty bright. Though.
Well, they can't
Yeah.
hear. I have.
I'd be happy to participate in this kind of stuff more. That was I liked that.
Oh yeah, Max's
this is-
stuff is pretty interactive because
Yeah,
he
this-
writes those. Yes, he writes those. those.
And I didn't even realize that I was kind of working along with the story without even thinking about it as the robot started sounding more and more human as time went by, and that's actually how it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I also,
oh, okay.
it was kind of fun because, like, Soto is a much more advanced robot, so I'm just gonna say she because I'm voicing her, fuck you, has a different voice to what Ace had, and I enjoyed hearing you play Ace differently to how I was playing Soto.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, actually,
It worked out really well, actually. Like, Soto's phrasing is still a bit stiff in places, but definitely more organic than what Ace had, which was really nifty. So,
I'm so
good
glad
job.
that I did a good enough job with that.
Kudos to the writing, and kudos to you playing it.
Yes.
Thank you
It
very
was
much.
also it was kind of amusing too because in a way your avatar kind of lined up with that because Soto's this Ace is this little flying robot and you're just this like floating
little
blob.
big thing. Yeah, it worked out. I like that. That was great. That was super
Kind of funny.
fun.
Mm-hmm.
I like how Ame called it a radio play because that is quickly what this is becoming and I'm really honestly enjoying that.
yeah,
Sounds
actually, you know,
I-
I see the thing is I used to act like back in high school, and I've missed that, but it's actually enjoyable to read this or even just hear it because I like audiobooks and radio plays and stuff like that. It's and it's different from the usual stories and stuff.
Yeah,
So
I
it's
used to
nice.
act myself, and honestly, I've wanted to voice act for a long time, but I've never known how to even begin, and it's fun.
Wait, how can you act honestly?
He's being a fuck. He's
It's like
Because-
it's like either sudden epiphany in the rave guy or like Velociraptor. How can you
how
be
you
an actor
honestly
but be
act.
honest? How can you be an honest actor?
If you wanted to be an honest actor, you would have to honestly play the character you're lying about being.
Method
Yeah,
acting.
So you mean
That
like
sounds good.
Christian
That
Bale
sounds-
freaking out the author of American Psycho because he did the character so well?
Yes.
Method acting.
Or
Just
Johnny
like
Depp
that.
freaking out the guy who from Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas?
Or Leonardo
Yeah,
DiCaprio
yeah.
actually cutting his hand in.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot.
Just if you guys ever need a voice again, I love doing voices, so that's
please.
something that I hardly turn down.
Actually,
Well-
you should show up around then and also bring material for you to. And another thing, you should stick around for after hours because I always can like
He
throw
gives
shit
out
at people
material
to-
for people to
Yes.
read.
give out
Okay,
material is
well-
the euphemism for throw shit at people so they can dramatically read it.
Okay. Well, I'm not really doing anything right now. I mean, the most I might do is go back and play Brave Fencer Musashi.
Cool.
Oh,
Oh.
Stop
Yeah,
appropriating my culture.
No, I got a
Do you want to
PS1
play Fedora
emulator,
now?
and I actually used to own that game when I was a kid, and I never beat it. So I finally went, you know what?
Oh.
I need to beat it. I need to fucking beat it.
I own the freaking book, bro. As for the way above the above, I like to practice morning and evening, day in and day out. Your mind should broaden itself, and you will have a martial art for either large or individuals. Passing this on to the world, I now write this down for the first time in the 5 chapters of Earth, Water, Fire, Wind, and Air.
Musashi invented the Fedora, man.
Yeah.
So, continuing before we get too out of hand, let's bring it back in.
There's always time.
Calm down. You have more soda stories? How many more soda stories do you have, Max?
Oh, do you have another one?
He's got more, apparently. How... do we want to do at least one more? Maybe...
Well, we have more readers, and we have after hours, but
I know. Alright, I guess we're gonna have to come back to that. Fuck!
Yeah,
I
I
like-
can't really.
I'm sorry that I made it so fucking addictive.
Well, sure.
It is sultry
I'm
tones of
just
that carry the
being a
whole
shit.
dialogue.
oh yes.
Yeah, well, there's always next time, Max. Why don't we save some more of your stuff for next time, and we can see... Yeah, okay. Because we got one soda story in. Yeah. Well, now you don't have to worry about writing more for a while, since you've got a backlog.
No, you should write more to backlog more.
It's just a never-ending backlog. Alright, so the last two readers are myself and you.
Yeah, or listen to Amy, because Amy is like
Yeah.
very seasoned.
All the rights,
Like,
all the
don't
writings.
try to book up on written material.
A
There you go.
novel by Pantsers. What? So, Jaeger, did you want to read first, or should I go first?
Let's do this.
Are you not reading Snipe?
I already did that, like,
I know,
last
when you
week.
promised. So that's why I thought you were going, and I don't want you to not read.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do that to you again.
Okay, good. Good.
You people. So I think I'm gonna read first.
Okay, because mine's pretty
Because
short.
I promised.
Good.
Ricky Harris with the
Request.
So, backing on what is going on with this book here
yes.
that I'm reading.
Oh, yes.
Muscles.
Muscles.
Juquest. With the gold family.
Oh, I'm pumping.
Okay. Focus, children. Fucking focus.
Sorry.
I get lost in the memes.
The memes. I gotta pull you out of the meme forest. Come on, we're in the home stretch. Come on.
I got lost in the muscles and the memes forest.
The muscles.
Listen. Got attacked by the swole wolf on your way to Grandma's house.
Yes.
Hey, gotta get
Good night,
those max gains.
Alright, fuck's sake, children,
Good
read it in,
night,
calm down.
Karen. Good night, Karen. Have a good sleep.
Good night.
Okay, so back here, so this Fathers by Herbert Gold. We are in chapter 8, but a quick recap here. Well, we know the tragedies that have happened so far, right? So, Sam Gold's son committed suicide by drinking lye, and that was the latest tragedy. Yes, Sam Gold is the father. The narrator is his kid. One of his kids.
I thought that Sam's brother committed suicide, not his son.
Oh no, Sam Gold is the father.
Yes. And
But Sam's
I thought
not
it was
the narrator.
Sam's... What? No, what?
Sam is the father, and one of his kids committed suicide.
This is Sam Shyamalan.
Which is Dan. Dan committed suicide.
Oh.
But then who was phone?
Whose phone? Phone was not. I think was phone invented. Yes, phone was invented. So.
I'm sorry, I'm just a shit.
Well, I mean, they had motorcycle shit, so...
You were Howells.
Because Herbert Gold is the one narrating this, actually.
Okay.
Okay, so
Careful.
is one of Sam's kids, Dan Gold, committed suicide by drinking lye, and that is that. So let's go back here. Caruso, the truck driver, used to toss me up, toward the ceiling of our house, toward the starry, impenetrable sky of Lakewood, Ohio. And that's how it was before bedtime on Fridays in 1934. The silence left behind by Ben. Oh, his name was Ben. Sorry, Ben Gold, who committed suicide. By Ben receded. Riot took its place. On those Friday nights, my mother kept an improvised boarding house for the odd crew that worked weekends nearly around the clock in my father's store. Girls and men, they shucked corn on the back porch. They flirted with each other while dropping yellow silken baskets and pots. They bedded down in all corners of the house after my mother's grand meal served on paper plates. Like explorers, they dropped to sleep wherever they found a congenial moment. Myrna paraded her pillows of flesh back and forth to the bathroom, borrowed my father's robe for herself, and went about laughing with gross tenderness at everything anyone said. Caruso, furious, gnawed at the shoulders with truck driver's muscle, flirted with no one, or perhaps only with my father. His sport for me was mostly to spend the strange not taken by work and song. Like most people, he was desperate to use himself up. Caruso, who was called Caruso because he was Italian and sang all the time, bellowed an aria from Don Giovanni or the Pearl Fishers, and flung me high and higher until I begged for mercy from such excess of bliss and went to bed with dizzy dreams of flying. I might have become insomniac, but failed to learn this disease because I was too busy staying awake, straining my ears to make sense of the rustlings and sighs of secret love-making, the screams of laughter, and the drone of all-night talking which transformed my own home into a dense new society of 2 nights a week. Work began at 3 in the morning during the spring and summer months. Caruso and my father and a boy rode through the pre-drawn streets toward the market to load up the truck with the earliest, choicest produce. By the time they rolled back from downtown Cleveland, top-heavy with crates of crisp greens bursting red, juice dripping from corners of crates, Caruso singing and my father planning, the others had got the store in order, the displays ready, the doors cleared for the onrush of depression bargain hunters. Then Caruso cleaned the truck and chopped away with his lettuce knife, his celery knife, his arsenal of flashing blades, and sang, and split squash and melons, and sang. Caruso was an orphan who adopted my father as his father, myself as his younger brother, and my mother as his mother. But the relationship was altered by the fact that he had been dropped on his head as an infant and preferred singing to thinking, that he was an employee of my father, and that he was not blood son or blood brother to our family. There is a limit to what known relatives can be forgiven. He first tested and then passed that limit. Beneath that well-oiled head of wavy hair, over a peculiarly round, dented skull, with the full nose and lips of a happy man of song, strange reasonings came to birth. Caruso blinked his pretty, heavy-lashed eyes. A doll. When he was at rest, the eyes were pretty and girlish. Most of the time, since his teeth were bare to music,
Careful, Merlin.
or an amazed enthusiasm. The eyes seemed to be squeezed shut. He often brought news to astonish my father, and when not astonishing him with recent events of the world, he sang out the eternal news of lost, lost, oh lost love, of the son of Venice, or of the glories of country and land far across the sea, including hue and field, dark-eyed women, and my mother mine, his mother his. During one July evening, the familiar guild was gathered on the back porch, gossiping, eating strawberries, and drinking beer, which was recently made legal. They were passing the late hours before bed, as usual, in the slight adult intrigues of bedtime. I was sleepy, lingering on an orange crate, having been ordered to bed 3 times but not yet yelled or slept to it. The adult world was worth a slap, or maybe 2. I would bear up within measure. Anyway, neither my mother nor my father much minded violating the rules about bedtime. Their slaps ensued but did not maim. The porch was screened, protected the house-bred flies from their menacing outdoor enemies. The flies buzzed, and like me, were slapped at. Sometimes wounded, fireflies glittered beyond, a bare boob hung above us. Creak of swinging giggle of girl and sighs about facts of life.
Yeah, I'll fix it later.
The real
okay,
stuff
Marlon?
was openly available. That was an essential fact of life. It had bearing. Also, Father Codlin was a friend of the working man. The screaming ego of the NRA, a friend of the working man. Roosevelt was a friend of the working man. But if he had so many friends, why was the working man in such a bad shape? Well, I tell you, said my father, forgetting he was the boss. The working boy has got to put his foot down and not work so many hours. He robs other boys. Like that's not job for everybody. The help, listening and nodding to this insight, had come to work at 6 that morning. And after closing the door at 9, were not spending a few additional hours shelling lima beans. They would be back on the job at dawn. Father Codlin, said Myrna, popping a pod, we'll drive the money changers from the temple. That's a good idea, my father said in his guttural Yiddish accent, which I cannot for the life of me do a Yiddish accent, so I'm doing whatever comes into my mind. Personally, he preferred the synagogue.
What are you eating?
For driving out the money changers.
Sirius, come here.
Though he didn't attend the services. Not
Down there on
personally.
the floor.
Okay.
Also, he would prefer to drive out Shlomi Spitz, who took money and never gave change. But those who believed could certainly attend with all his good wishes and respect. Like Caruso should sing. At that moment, a panting noise came up behind my father, and Caruso stood there, swaying with emotion, his eyes affrighted and the pretty lashes fluttering. "What happened?" demanded my father. "Oh, terrible!" gasped Caruso, exceptionally out of voice. "What? The truck? What the truck?" Caruso swallowed lumps of gobbles, fought for voice, fought for words, and finally explained. "Oh, the truck boss was just smoking a cigarette in the cab. Oh my God, was smoking a little and singing a little, and the cigarette fell on the cushions. The truck burned down," my father asked. But now Caruso could not be stopped. "You know, in the upholstery, the pillows in the cab, well, so I just opened my mouth in the La Tira da Rinda Mano. Piece from Don Giovanni, you know, boss, that odd part." And he went off and song until my father hit him hard in the belly with his elbow. "Oh, oh, oh!" and said Caruso, "Tell me what happened to the truck." "Oh, well, the cigarette fell down in the cushions. If I didn't find it in the cushions there, the truck would have burned out, boss. It was terrible, awful. My heart hurts me right here." He seized my father's hand and put it across his chest to feel the pounding. There was a yelling and pounding of feet among the lima bean shellers. Myrna shrieked with laughter. My father, chief of his gang, bore the responsibility to preserve order. He kept his head. "Okay, Caruso, so don't worry.
Okay, man.
Anyway, the truck is insured. I am insured for fire, so don't worry. You know it now." Everyone settled down to catch up with the lima beans after this interruption. Pop, pop, pop. Beans in pots,
Cats.
pots in hampers. Pop. The lima beans loved to be made slippery and neat.
Nations, yeah!
A few minutes later, Caruso, who had been more silent than silence, got up and tiptoed away. His silence should have been interpreted for the rare event it was. Responsive meditation. 5 minutes later, he returned with a delighted grin on his face. "Boss?" he said. Caruso winked at my father. He would do anything for him. "Oh, boss. Hey, the truck is burning." There was a red glow and a slap of rivets in the vacant lot next door. The heated vacuum sucked itself through canvas. There was a whoosh of pulse. And then the gas tank went, celebrating the 22nd of July, 1934, and Caruso's homage to my father. I believe it would be a mistake to call Caruso a psychopath. The implication of the word is that the person bearing that label is separated from reality, failing in sympathy and the gift of communicating with others. But Caruso, while he ignored the usual standards, was devoted to my father, devoted to me. Up, 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 and devoted to Italian opera and music with Italian words. The matter of the truck was explained to him with precision and emphasis. He learned his lesson and promised never again to burn down a truck on purpose, and also never to interpret my father's words, but simply to listen to what he said. and follow only the commands which had the specific grammatical form and order. Clean the lettuce, hose the back room, deliver the onions to the Chinaman. He would leave implications to orders. However, trucks still weighed heavily upon his mind. Caruso had a double-clutched head when it came to trucks. They meant freedom and power to him. His ideas raced noisily up inclines. Finally, a man cannot live without implications. The new truck, a White Motors product, manufactured in Cleveland and purchased by my father out of patriotic loyalty to his adopted city in those troubled Depression days, smelled new and shiny, with sexy freshness of paint, rubber, and various adhering oils and preservatives. The springs were stiff-browed Calvinist, but they would settle down under vegetables. There's nothing like new tones of asparagus, radishes, worms, weevils, cabbage, and other edibles to teach a truck a more liberal theology. Caruso lifted me into the cab and proudly conducted me around the block. He drove the truck to the produce market empty, and then returned it heaped high. He also delivered orders to the lonely and telephoning rich in the Great Lakes antique mansions with the captain's stewards along Lake Avenue. They gave him dimes. Gloomy butlers gave him dimes. And he transported the group of boarders who slept under my mother's wing on Friday nights. You think that all this useful labor would satisfy the most ardent and tuneful lover of trucks. It almost did, but almost has never sufficed for the sensitive psychopath.
Lay down, dog.
The sociopath in good contact, or the man bursting
leave
with
the light on.
love of the universe. Useful labor is one thing.
You deaf.
Adventure and risk are another. Times do not compensate.
Eat it.
One morning, instead of driving the truck to the market to pick up milk crop lettuce, Caruso just kept up on driving across the high-level bridge and east, going eastward across the Cuyahoga River and out through night-shrouded Cleveland. He never showed up. My father was left at home with crates of produce on the pavements of West Side Terminal. He smoked from the ears, and from the eyes he looked every which way for Caruso. Caruso had taken off. He had flown. He loved my father, but he stole his truck as a son might steal pennies from the pockets of his father.
Merlin.
Maybe his love was mixed with baser elements.
Merlin.
Dad waited a day before deciding what to do.
Merlin.
No Caruso.
Merlin.
Silence in the cooler. Silence in the back room. No Caruso singing on the toilet in the basement. Still no Caruso.
Merlin.
My mother called Aunt Sarah, her sister. She said
Merlin.
call the police. My father called Aunt Anna, her other sister,
Merlin.
whose daughter was Elsie.
Quiet.
She said call the cops. My mother told my father, please, Sam, Officer Boo already.
Can I help you?
Uncles Morton and Morris, Aunt Esther, Bessie, cousins Irving and Bernie. The whole family checked in. Aunt Sarah. who had unlimited calls, telephoned almost hourly with the new suggestions for recovery and revenge. Everyone rallied around the memory of the White Motor's truck. They said, "What's the matter, Easy?" They said, "What's the matter, you soft?" They said, "What's the matter? You let a Caruso like that get away with your machine? He's in Texas for sure. He's gone to Manitoba. Across the line. They strip trucks like that in Chicago, Cicero. Oh boy, you're in for it now, with the mafia." Mina said, "I always knew he was a bad boy from the
Merlin.
way he looks at me all the time. He sure
Merlin.
does."
Bye.
My father waited. No Caruso. On the third day, reluctantly, he went to the police. He had earlier inquired about accidents. None. Now he reported Caruso lost, the truck lost with him. It would be hard to hide a shiny, new, red-cabbed White Motor's truck with sans fruit vegetable free
Merlin.
delivery stenciled on the door by Caruso's loving hands. He was also an artist who had unlimited. Now he reported Caruso lost. The truck, father said. I can't understand it. Scratching his scalp before the sergeant's desk, unhappy at the being there, since he knew that the police were the natural enemies of law and order, and so what he was doing, confiding his problems about the sinking driver to them, to a cop. Their job was to receive turkeys at Christmas, occasionally a $5 bill if the sidewalk was littered. They had nothing to do with Caruso and him. Littering and loitering were the things that made a cop wake up. It's hard, said the pleasant, broad-hammered sergeant, for a red truck to get lost. Yes, said my father, real hard to hide. No place to sell. Yes. Also hard for a walk to stay put. Lost. Sergeant was smiling. My father said, he's an Italian boy. No offense meant, Sam. Pardon me. I'm sure. I'm Catholic myself, and I know them whoops like the back of me hand. Together my father and the cop paused to examine the back of his hand. It was veiny, red, blue, rich, hairy, scrubby, confused. Who really knows the back of his hand? My father nevertheless accepted the apology. What he understood was that the sergeant was saying that everybody is classified, not just by fingerprint. My father was classified as a businessman and a Jew. And when the truck was found, the sergeant expected a reward. How this complicated set of signals was transmitted by the single word whoop. In this context, it's hard to explain logically, but nonetheless, everyone understood communication. Even in those days before radar, they were trained to receive. Truck got lost, said the cop, beaming. He was tickled by my father's language. Yeah. I'll put it on the wire. Lost Sammy's truck? And it came to pass, due to the efficiency of the police and the visibility of the truck, that Caruso and the truck were found within 12 hours. Maybe Caruso simply ran out of gas. Maybe he wasn't really hiding. Why, anyway, did he row into Erie, Pennsylvania? That is no resort to visit for a lover of music. It's just a red brick mill town on the road from Cleveland to Buffalo, and no place. It's just a spot on the map. Did he have a girl there? Did his singing soul lead him onto Road 6? No matter, it seemed. Caruso was in jail, and the truck was in the pound. My father took the train to recognize one and claim the other. He says that he came out of the train station, stood confused for a moment, and then heard the distinct reverberations of Giles' burgeoning song. With half the train ticket clutched in his fist, he followed the tenor's song through the block and a half of grimy Erie, PA. Men were selling apples in the street. There were still milk wagons drawn by horses. The bakery drivers had the look of men who ate what they did not sell. Caruso's song increased in volume as my father trudged down the cobblestones leading to jail. Don Giovanni pleaded with Elvira. He sought understanding. He wanted love and forgiveness. And yet he was defiant. He challenged, he commanded to do his worst. And Caruso too found delight in both suffering and love. My father found him from the street. He stood in a basement cell, with a barred half window to the daylight. He was serenading the passing ankles of women of Erie, Pennsylvania, who happened to find themselves passing the jail. There was a bruise above one eye and a cut on his scalp. He managed to grin and lift himself to the bars in an athletic gesture of greeting. "Hiya, boss!" "Hello, Caruso. Where's the truck?" "They put it in the pound, boss. Hey, how's about to get me out of here?" "Why should I, Caruso? I lost a couple of days at the market. I just lost the price of the ticket. I lost time, which is money. Who needs a train ride these days?
What?
Also the aggravation. So I don't know how to sing that fucking Latte damn na mano. Shit in Italian. Sang out the tenor. I fell in love. I fell in love with Thre, Pennsylvania. In the language of the time, Caruso was crazy. There was loco and buggy. He was a casualty of no particular disaster, of the Great Depression, or the rise of Hitler, or the mechanization of the West. He was just nuts, and after my father bailed him out, he just disappeared. That was about 30 years ago. He was no more than 25 when he used to toss me up, up, up toward the sky, singing. Which means he is now merely 55 years old. A young man in the prime, as my father would describe him. Did he marry? Does he drive trucks? My nightmare is that he might be about short order cook in a steamy diner in Erie, Pennsylvania, which is once obscurely drew him with its magic. Is he burned out? Is he still singing? Caruso, you may have been below average for intelligence and social adjustment, but you get a superior rating for insistence upon music. You entered life like the rest of us. Is there no place for you? There is no place for many of the most worthy. Here ends chapter 8.
Merlin.
This book.
So,
Well, wow.
This book is just heavy all the way. All the
we
way.
have the condemned, the criminal, the suicidal, now the insane. Oh yeah, we have the
Jeez.
victims of the Holocaust in the first chapters of the book.
Yeah, the book just like started out by saying "fuck you" and then continued in the general vein.
I see.
There is no place for the mentally ill.
Oh,
Not in those days.
Well, like this book is in the Great Depression.
Exactly.
A connection.
Well, on that note, now it's time for something completely different.
and now for something completely different.
Well, because
You're
I'm
large.
reading. No, you shut up.
Woof. Woof, woof, woof.
Really, Hal?
I love the fact that I just press play.
Infinite waff.
Yes. Marvelous.
Glorious.
Hey, Kinix, do something for me. Do a waff.
Cartwheel.
Perfect.
Waffle.
Okay, Merlin.
Close it.
Well, that's a waffle with an accent.
Yes, Merlin.
What
Waffle.
about it?
Well,
See this?
now it's time for Kino's
Oh, that's
book.
sight.
I
Waiting
read.
for you guys to calm the fuck
Yes, I
down.
see, yes.
Wait.
Using the soda.
Okay,
Oh,
Merlin.
jeez.
I believe that once it's Kino's book, and then we are on after hours after Kino start, I believe.
Yep.
Please.
Oh boy. Then we can release our musklies.
Improve the air. Please.
Book Bogan, please. Okay, Kino, you have the floor.
You guys done? You done?
Yes, ma'am.
Sure.
Right.
Done like dinner.
You need to get your little toddler instances done? You done?
Dinner.
For now, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good.
S Please don't. I have that song burned into my memory. So basically, last chapter, Candy was up in the top of the head of the Yabadimde, learning about all of the ends of the hours, with Samuel Clip, and then she got kidnapped by a moth. So that's where we are now. A moth. Okay, so I'll go. No, it's
I
just a
enjoyed
moth.
riding on top of one.
No,
Oh,
well,
she had a
the
squid
moth
too.
did the kidnap. Well,
She had
We're
the
gonna-
squid Frenchies.
am I gonna explain it, or are you guys just gonna do that for me?
Explain, please.
Thank you. So, I guess I have to go back a little bit further because people forgot about the moth. But basically, a couple chapters ago, Christopher Carrion made a moth out of dead people that he gave to Mendelssohn Shape, and to go capture Candy with, so that's what happened. Anyway, we're on chapter 21 now, which is called The Hunt. Under more pleasant circumstances, Candy may have enjoyed the journey that took her away from the towers of the Abadimde. She never suffered from vertigo, so she didn't mind the fact that they were 1,000 feet up. The view was spectacular, the patchwork of glittering sunlit sea where the hours of daylight fell, and the dark waters where the night hours held sway. She could scarcely play the blithe sightseer in her present precarious position. Though the moth's hold on her was reasonably secure, Yabadimde. It was clear to her that she was a burden that the creature's anatomy was not designed to support. Every now and again there would be a breath-snatching moment when its spindly legs scrambled to secure a better hold on her. Whenever this happened, Squiller automatically clamped himself more tightly to her head, like a climber for dear life to a rock face. Nor was her fear of being dropped her only concern. Worse, in a way, was the threatening chatter of Mendelssohn's shape. "I'm sure you never thought you'd see me again, eh?" he said. She didn't reply. "Well, you should know," he went on, "I'm not a man who gives up easily. If Lord Carrion wants you, then Lord Carrion will have you. He's my prince. His word is law." He paused, plainly hoping to get some fearful response from her. When none came, he continued in the same confident vein. "I dare say he'll reward me for delivering you. He'll probably give me a piece of the Abarat when his night of victory comes, and darkness takes everything under its wing. You realize that's what's going to happen, right? There's going to be an absolute midnight, and everyone in the Sinner's Emporium will be raised up on that night. You'll see." Candy had kept silence thus far, but now her curiosity overcame her. "What in God's name is the Sinner's Emporium?" she said. "A place where God's name is not written," Mendelssohn said, amused by his own joke. "It's a book penned by my Lord Carrion's grandmother, Mater Motley, in which she lists the 7,000 greatest sinners in Abarat." 7,000 sinners, and you're one of them. "I am." "That doesn't sound like much to be proud of," Candy commented. "What would you know?" Mendelssohn's shape snapped. "You outrun me once and you think you have all the answers. Well, you don't, missy. I could have you dropped in an instant." He leaned forward and said, "Go fire!" In response to this instruction, the moth twitched and let Candy go. She loosed a shriek as she slipped out of the creature's grasp and started to fall. "Jazza!" Shape yelled. "Jazza!" With a heartbeat to spare, the moth caught a hold of her again, though its hold was precarious. Shape seemed to realize this. He barked out a third, incomprehensible order, and this time the moth responded by gathering Candy back to its upper body and drawing her closer than ever. So close that the stiff black hairs of its thorax pricked her, despite the padding on the jacket Samuel Klepp had given her. She felt a trickle of fluid running down the side of her face. Poor Squiller had obviously thought they were going to fall to their doom, and had lost control of his squittish bladder in his panic. She reached up and stroked him. "It's all right," she whispered. Her heart was beating furiously. Her whole head was throbbing. She glanced up at Shape, wondering if she shouldn't try to make some kind of peace with him, to prevent his playing that kind of lethal game again. Next time, the moth might be quick enough to catch her. But Shape's attention was focused on something ahead of them. She followed the line of his gaze and saw a fleet of 5 or 6 air balloons appearing from a blank bank of moonlit cloud, perhaps a quarter-mile away. "What in the Nefernow is this?" she heard Mendelssohn mutter to himself. Nefernow, she thought. "I think I just learned my first aberration curse word." Apparently, someone in the fleet had seen the moth, because the leading ship was changing its direction and heading toward them. "Squirrel! Squirrel!" Mendelssohn yelled. The moth obeyed the instruction and began a vertiginous descent. It was so steep that Candy feared she and Squiller would slip right out through the loop of the moth's legs. So she reached up over her head and grabbed hold of the creature's thorax with both her hands, indifferent to the prickling of the hard hairs. An island had come into view below them. If they fell now, they would be dashed to death. She had to hold on now. Her abductor was her only hope. She glanced again toward the fleet of balloons. They obviously had some other means of propulsion besides the wind, because in the 10 or 15 seconds since the moth had begun its descent, the ships had halved the distance between themselves and their quarry. Candy heard a high-pitched whistling sound, and something flew close to her face. A moment later came a second whistling sound, followed by a stream of aberration curse words. Shape had flattened himself against the body and head of the moth. It took her only a moment to work out why. Then she understood. They were being fired at. There were hunters in the balloons, and they were obviously intent on bringing down the moth. Either they hadn't seen its rider and its captive, or else they didn't care about what happened to Shape and Candy if their missiles hit home. Whichever it was, it scarcely mattered. The consequence for Candy and Squiller would be the same. She heard a third whistling now, which was followed by a thud. Then a traumatic shudder ran through the body of the moth. "Oh, please," she murmured. "Please don't let this be happening." But it was too late for prayers. She looked up at the insect's head to see a crossbow bolt fired by someone in one of the balloon's gondolas had struck the insect directly between its huge eyes. There was no blood spilling from the wound. Instead, there came a spiraling stream of fragmented color which rose up into the darkened air. Apparently, the insect was some kind of magical creation, which went a little way to explaining why it didn't die instantly, though it had surely been mortally wounded. Instead, it struggled to climb skyward again, its immense wings beating with slow majesty as it attempted an ascent. But it didn't get very far. A new round of shots came from the balloons, and the vicious bolts tore hole after hole in the delicate membrane of the moth's wings. Again, color streamed from the wounds, as it discharged its myriad hues, despite the beating of its wings began to falter. The desperate beating of its wings began to falter. Then they stopped. Their descent began a second time. Candy looked back up at Shape. He was still very close to the moth, desperately whispering to it in a panic attempt to bring it out of its dive. But it was a lost cause. Shot from the sky, the moth fell and fell and fell. All Candy and her pursuer could do was hold on as the insect gathered speed and raced towards the unforgiving earth below. And that's the end of the chapter.
That was short. Wow.
I told you it was short. that's the end of that chapter.
That was impressively short.
I am
I
sad.
That
told you.
was quite short.
Wow, yay. Nope.
Suddenly, Merlin.
Yep.
Hello. Hello, Molly. It.
Oh yeah.
So we'll just
lovely.
have to find
It's
out.
me, Myro.
Okay, Merlin.
Since we'll schedule like 7
Boy,
o'clock,
Hey, Mario.
like, you know,
Okay,
smart
Merlin.
dog, like,
It's
about
me.
that one.
Hey, Mario! What the shit? Granddad!
Granddad. Flintstones.
I really, the granddad episode the best.
What the shit? Granddad.
Granddad!
I gotta link you. Remind me to link you a YouTube channel completely dedicated to doing Granddad like game song rips. It's
Oh yeah, I remember. I know
horrible.
Joel goes on there all the time to get those.
It's fantastic.
It's so
yes,
good.
She was
I mean, I can't help but Dwayne out to a lot of that shit.
yeah. Okay, speaking about it, well,
What the?
I missed one chapter of Vibrate and well, I missed out on a lot of stuff. Last SNR because I just didn't come. But a lot of stuff happened and I feel bad for it, but one thing I don't feel bad for is what's going to happen now. Everybody is invited to join me in a journey of what the fuck? Because are you feeling down?
What the fuckery?
Everybody get up.
What the?
Merlin.
Time to slam now.
B. You fast.
Yes.
Welcome to the Space Jam.
Yes, welcome to the Space Jam. It's your chance to do your dance at the Space Jam. We, well, I don't know exactly how to introduce the theme that we are going to tackle this time around, but let's just say it's very, very divine. And it's going to make you feel a little better about yourself, at least. If you're feeling down, you're going to feel a bit better about your own mortality. We're going to be visiting a very interesting kind of divine kings. Yes. So I was stumbling on Tumblr and I found a very quaint little thing. Have you ever wanted to feel... Well, I mean, have you ever wanted to believe that you are a god?
I've done that.
Oh, this is where we're going tonight.
Oh,
Yes.
This is where we're going tonight. Okay.
I mean,
What's
I'm not
going
talking.
on?
I am not talking about worshiping a god. I'm not talking
No.
about
I know.
doing magic. I'm talking about being a god and being worshipped. Have you ever thought about it?
No,
And
but I know
yes.
certain
This.
people who have.
So seriously
I-
consider the practicality and like all the actual logistics that this implies.
Well, I mean, you have
And
to get a temple built. You have to get all of people to maintain it. and you have to have
the
people
actual
come
social
worship.
consequences of this.
I mean, there's a lot of work that goes into being a god. But please tell us.
I don't need temples. I just need
Hey, Mom.
food.
But
Food is good.
okay, let's
Yeah, but somebody
Pop.
they gotta put your food somewhere.
In my
let's
belly.
put the,
What?
but let us put all this aside. You don't need any of that to be a god. You need to
You
do
live at
is
the
to-
bottom of a river and wait for like people to throw virgins down there. You're not one to talk.
No.
You know, you're
That's
gonna be
bullshit.
waiting for a while.
Move over,
Guys, shut up so he can tell us.
Merlin.
Shut
Oh,
up so he can tell us.
Yeah, well, you don't need any of that on the internet. All you need to do is you need to just post shit on the internet, especially on Tumblr. And then you're a god. It's simple as that. So
Okay, cool.
we are going to visit
Dumbler.
some people's journey into being gods. Some of them are famous gods that we should know, like the reincarnations of gods.
Stop.
What talking
Is
about?
that the reincarnation?
Are we going to
accidentally-
That alone, okay? Chill.
We
Howl
accidentally
since he's
worship
scared.
them. And we might accidentally inspire a lot of divine wrath as we tackle this subject tonight.
Oh shit.
I got some divine wrath in my pants.
Yes,
That's
we are
yourself.
brewing.
Sounds
we
a
are
bit like
brewing
ED.
some- Yeah, it sounds like an euphemism to something very, very, yeah.
You have been smited.
So, well, begin with...
Oh, I'm sure there will be, Ame. Although you traumatized us enough for one
There,
night.
there will be.
Yeah, I definitely kind of odd after that first presentation. If I'm not mistaken, my pants got a little tighter, so that wasn't too comfortable.
I'll
That
imagine.
goes well with the diabetes. Mr. Plinkett, go back to your house.
I got diabetes.
You want some pizza rolls? I'll bag you pizza rolls.
Want
Email
some
me at this
pizza
web
rolls?
zone.
Come on, I'll get you some pizza.
Get out of my brace!
Oh no!
Red letter media. Anyway, continue, please. Sorry.
Holy shit! Well, no, I'm just slowly opening the first. You can go. You can go. So that's the god
Nemesis
of
and I are just
diabetes.
going fucking insane with Mr. Plinkett over there. In the
Well,
corner.
I believe you can make the god of diabetes.
He's definitely the god of diabetes and pizza rolls.
Yeah, diabetes and pizza rolls.
He'll mail you a pizza roll if you email him at this web zone.
No, you know what? I want Joel to send me one of his crappy hand-drawn T-shirts.
I'm sure he would.
Don't.
Joel's a stand-up guy. He just needs to stop downloading boobs on the internet, Joel.
I love Joel so much. He is so much fun.
Were you downloading boobs again, Joel?
Damn it, Joel!
Joel! Joel, you're lying. It was you.
So, okay. So
Anyway, let's continue talking about God.
Okay, let's begin with a post on kingcuddles.tumblr.com.
Oh boy.
Which specializes on providing comfort to other kin. And Anonymous asked, I'm starting to think I'm kin with a Mayan god, but I'm white, and I feel bad for it. Can you please help me?
Well, we could perform some revitiligo. Or no, it would be revitiligo. You turn blacker and blacker.
So, can you guess how many ways you would help this person?
Tell them to kill themselves.
We could burn their skin so it's a darker tone.
Oh dear Lord, you guys are horrible. Well, so
I have paint. My mom's don't have paint because she's very ill. Yeah, she's
but the paint wouldn't be permanent, so we could tattoo the body.
Tattoo? I was just
she did
you
make.
Tattoo them.
My mom did make.
Tattoo the whole body, every inch of it.
Yeah. I could do it.
No.
Tell us what to do for this delicate creature.
What King Cuddles actually comforted, you can't control how you identify, and that's okay. One of the most important things to remember about being other kin is that, of course, your kin type doesn't have to match your physical body. Don't feel bad, okay? Just be yourself. Mayan god, I guess. Even if yourself happens to be a nation powerful Mayan god. And know that you have the love and support of your friends in the other kin community.
Sure.
Godkin. My kin type is Godkin.
Nightkin.
Godkin is like the equivalent of God modding in the other kin community. Like, I am, I don't know, foxkin. Oh, what are you? I'm dogkin. What are you? I'm a godkin. That's unfair. You can't be godkin. That's fucking unfair. That's against the law. No, I'm godkin. I win.
You guys don't know anything. I'm a refrigerator kin. I keep food inside.
Oh, see.
Well, yeah.
Did you
Does that overlap with Fatkin?
That has a function.
No, I'm my own thing. I refrigerate. I don't dissolve anything. I just pull it out of me.
You can environmental regulations that are not free on Earth.
I sexually identify. Yes, I sexually identify as an attack helicopter. Thank you.
You sexually identify as a refrigerator. You need to stick pudding cups inside, mate. Thank you.
Because pudding cups have to do with rape, and that triggers me.
I sexually identify with an ice bucket.
Of course. Well. Okay, so this next piece.
I like ice.
Holy shit!
I like ice.
How can I just like individually link this thing? I always...
there's a hole in my bucket.
Just copy the text.
Yeah, I'm just going to copy this text. What's your?
Me. I do.
Okay.
I do.
Alright, you're going to read this.
I don't even know what it is, but I want to read it.
Of course, that's like the.
Hey, wait a minute.
I mean, you're
fucking
gonna
I
go
like to
for something
read
later
too.
anyways.
hours.
I know.
Alright. You will read, but
Oh, you will read.
Oh, that's sounds like a friction.
Alright, so Anonymous asked, I don't know what voice I need to read this in. I'm just gonna read it in normal voice for now, I guess. Some positivity for Hermes from Greek mythos, who's been frustrated over trying to find out how he was in his past life and what's been written about him. Different memories are coming from different interpretations, and I've been remembering a dragon for some reason. It's so frustrating. /face. You're a god or part of a... Wait, who the fuck is this person now? Is this two different replies?
no.
The top part and...
No. It's so frustrating. Then it cuts to the answer.
Oh, this is the
So
answer.
good.
Now here we have the answer. You're a
The
god.
dragon is
or
the in Black Dragon mocking him. Okay, go.
You are a god, or part of a god, a magical being who's been around for hundreds of years. You've seen and done so many different things.
Merlin, stop.
And
No.
everyone interprets a god differently, so
That
of course
could
you're
hurt the
going to be
dog
remembering
really
a lot of
bad.
different things. It's normal. Just take your time and don't panic if you don't remember everything right away. And don't worry about the dragon. It will come back to you eventually. And besides, dragons are pretty cool. Cormac.
Oh, okay.
Fucking, alright, cool.
Alright. Dragons are pretty cool.
Dragons are pretty cool too.
Fire breathing murder machines. And
They're like gold.
Very pretty cool.
I think you identify with the dragon with gold inside.
I sexually identify as a dish rag.
Merlin,
Hey,
no.
hey,
Open the
What?
Hey,
What?
okay,
What?
okay. This is kind of a long shot, but I look for some angels, demons, wolves, even humans who remember serving me at some point. I'm the god of manipulation and destruction, and I really like to have my followers again. I miss you all. Kisses.
Wait, it's like a great Craigslist for gods.
You will be back.
I'm looking for a specific person. I guess
You could make like a Wreck-It Ralph version. You could like make a mythology Wreck-It Ralph based on this stuff. It would be amazing.
I'm gonna work it.
Merlin,
Like,
stop.
just like in terms of like the whatever.
Okay. Okay. I wait. Fuck. I need to find something here. Okay, Emmy needs something to read, but I want to find the proper thing. I found it.
Not dragons.
Are they bad?
Shut up. You shut up over there. Shut up.
Okay, I'm just deciding.
I owe you one pizza roll from this web zone.
Pizza.
My mom is pizza.
Merlin, stop. Be nice.
My mom's pizza.
Your mother is pizza?
Yep.
Is pizza. She's a pizza.
Does that make Merlin like a crust or like the pepperoni you pick off of
No,
pepperoni?
no,
You actually want it to be cheese?
No, do not be ashamed of your pepperoni nipples.
What? I would. But my mom.
I kind of think Merlin is the cheese that's all over the pizza.
No, I tell you, silly goose.
He's the cheese that when you bite the pizza, it like ends up stringing 3 feet long and getting on your pants.
Yes.
And like
I
dripping
want
off and getting in your mustache.
Oddly
It's like
specific.
ejaculating cheese.
I'm none of it.
Ew. No.
Just my mom.
That sounds like an unpleasant experience.
Hey, mom. Guess what?
Mozzarella.
Come on, don't die
I
on
like
me.
it. I like the exact moment you would like
Chill.
to have Mommy read. She gets
Go
swamped.
see why the dog's barking.
Oh, banana.
No.
Don't die on me.
What's happening here?
I'm not crushed, am I?
I don't know. I
yet.
can't tell yet. You don't. You're still here.
You are still with us. Don't go towards the light.
Okay, don't. Okay.
Merlin, stop. Just leave the door open, Merlin. Leave the door open. Thank you.
Are you retarded?
My mom said that.
He's typing. Or can you hear me? He's typing. You know what, though? After the other day, we were like, Brazil isn't known for speaking Portuguese. I wouldn't put anything past you, to be honest.
Beautiful. Okay.
Brazil's not known for speaking Portuguese. Okay.
Okay.
It's just a joke, bro.
I found
Just
it.
a prank, bro.
Because Max is dumb.
Just a prank, bro.
Here.
Okay, you found it?
Found it.
And you didn't die.
What?
And you didn't crash.
Shit, Merlin.
Oh.
You are perfectly okay.
Sorry about that. My Chrome was.
Ah!
Here, Army.
My
Click
ear,
on
asshole.
this.
Alright, give me a moment to load the page.
The percussion band in the background.
That would be the dog in the doorway.
It's just like.
Leave the door open, please.
Okay, yeah, you're turning into a gremlin.
Okay, it is loaded.
Oh, stop.
Are we ready?
Nope.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Okay.
My body.
So, kin positivity. I do positivity posts for any kind of other kin. Anonymous asked, can I get some positivity for the Egyptian god Set? I've been having a rough time missing my home and friends, and I feel like it's my fault we died, you know? I kind of fucked up big time and didn't do what needed to be done fast enough, and I didn't even have a chance to say goodbye. So, yeah, it's been... Oh boy, it's been a time. Hi, Set. First off, you're an Egyptian god? Holy shit, that's cool. Anyway, people make mistakes. There's not a single thing that hasn't made a mistake. You can't help that you didn't do what you needed to. I'm sure everyone out there can testify to this. If you miss everyone, then I'm sure that they're out there and they miss you too. In this life, you can see them and not have to say goodbye. That's why you're here now, to live your new life. I wish you the best of luck in finding them again.
What is this shit?
All right.
I honestly believe the reason that they felt so incapable of achieving what they thought they were supposed to achieve in the life that they never had was because they were the god Set, not the god Go.
Ha!
Oh,
They're the gods.
So, I'm gonna...
They were also
Let me see,
they also have their left
Jex
knocked
and
out, and they were
Van?
cuckolded by their sister and their brother together.
Well, at least
So
Set
that's like
isn't
a
as
fail.
bad as the god Ready.
Oh god.
So, let me just, let me
No.
right click.
No.
Ready? Oh, that's my brother. I'm sorry, they're
And-
Ready.
Ready, Set, go.
No. Okay, who wants the next piece before I kill someone?
Me.
Okay. You fucking god of puns, you fucking mean lord. There we go. Have this.
Oh, what is this?
Merlin, turn down your video, hon.
My name is Celeste Magenta Moonraven, and I'm a further Wicca, and also a godkin. I'm the incarnation of Loki, but I also godphone Satan and my 3 totem animals.
Wait, you got phones?
And cat. They all speak through me and always tell me the truth. I run a club
How do you know?
with me and 4 of my, and we're the best coven in town. We get together every Saturday and watch American Horror.
Nobody bullies me.
So this person is schizophrenic, correct?
No, go on.
Shut. And then we do witchcraft and use my sister's keyboard to talk to
Why your sisters?
my boyfriend. He's really nice once you start talking to him. I even went to his grave and we made
Why
out.
is Loki dating James?
No, Loki's dating a dead guy. I don't know if you caught that.
Yes,
exactly. And don't tell me I'm uneducated because I read all of Silver Ravenwolf's books. I've done blood rituals and even killed a person with my magic. With a
Magic
CK.
with a K.
Yeah, with
Love
a
and blessings
CK.
from
Love
Loki
and
and
blessings.
Magic and
Kisses.
Silver Raven. Loki's doing all this fucking crazy shit. And then,
Jesus.
I think Loki let himself go
Loki has
for
brain damage.
a while.
Got fucking brain damage. Got hit in the head too many times.
His fucking brother's hammer, I guess.
Well, I'm sorry. I guess that performance was a little too low key.
Kill him now or have to wait until he gives us all cancer.
You're good teaming with those. Okay. Hey.
I'm having
So-
too much fun. Screw you guys.
No, if
Enjoy it while you can.
Hey, if you didn't hear me before, if you didn't hear me, hey, hello, I'm a
Hi.
god of time and death. All right, hello.
Tell us more.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm a god of time and death, patron of deity of transgender youth.
Wait,
And
whoa,
I'm
what?
looking for-
Okay.
Oh, okay.
and I'm looking.
Through the Tumblr very quickly.
Hey, I'm a god. You should let me speak.
Sorry.
A patron deity of transgender youth, and I'm looking.
If you're
for
over
a devil-
21, you're SOL.
Yeah, I'm the god of transgender. I have more tits and vaginas than you do.
I'm the god of transgender elders.
Alright, shut up. You're trying to tell us the thing. Shut up.
Actually,
Shut up.
I'm going to suffocate you with my fedora. I had.
Oh.
That's actually
I had a
Trilby.
I had a few divine devotees that I am trying to find and reconnect with. I had an angel with blue eyes and white hair, an angel with golden wings, an incubus with large leathery wings, a horned demon, a prophet. If you think you might be one of those former devotees and would be interested in returning to my service, please contact me.
So this is Craigslist for gods.
Yeah.
I really want to write
There's a
something based on
misconnection.
this could go
Misconnection section on
So-
Craigslist.
Excuse me, I used to be an angel.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
Okay, what the
yes,
fuck is
I used to be an
okay,
angel
what
and
the fuck?
I
What is
forgot
happening?
everything.
Jesus Christ,
So-
that is loud.
This was on March 22, 2016, on 3:29 a.m., right? So on March 22, 2016, 3:46 a.m., at the same fucking hour. I'm looking for devotees. The immortals are welcome. My name is Tempest, and I'm a god of time with ties to death. I'm a patron of deity of transgender youth. I'm honestly just looking for a handful of strong-willed people that are willing to light the occasional candle with my honor and maybe say a prayer or leave things at my online shrine here and there.
You know, for a second I thought you had said hand jobs.
Oh,
This is probably because they can't get those.
Yes, like
It's
all I'm
like,
worshiping
please,
is
could,
like,
could some of my followers give me a hand job? Thanks.
please. So just, I
You're awesome. Keep up the good work.
can't be a rock star. Okay, you can be a god on the internet. Of course.
Hey, I mean, it's the next best thing, right?
Yeah.
Well, you know what they say about the internet and Special Olympics.
I don't know what. No. So let's say. Oh no. Okay. So who wants this next one? Instead.
I'll do it. Oh, Earth can do it.
No. Instead he did it.
Sorry.
You don't want? Okay. Oh,
That's a little too late.
Who wants to? Okay,
Yes.
I want this with like extra brain damage.
Oh,
damage,
no!
okay.
If you want brain damage, but all right.
No, I'll give you brain damage. This calls for my kawaii sugoi voice. If you want extra brain damage.
Oh boy.
Lay it on thick.
I'll give you something brain damage to Nevzer. Don't worry.
Oh boy.
I'll give you brain damage. Don't worry.
All right. Let me just start by going. Well, what are these fucking tags?
If you want to read the text, you can.
Oh, I'm gonna read the tags.
Okay.
So let me just. Here we go. So, I don't know much about it, but I know I'm a deity of some kind. The identification just feels right to me. However, as for what deity, I don't exactly know. I just know I was a forgotten and chaotic one, but not necessarily evil, because that's not kawaii, okay, guys? Would any other godkin or deitykin mind talking to me over PM to help me figure things out? And then the tags, for whatever fucking reason, are #Azrael has spoken. #maybe it's my god of hyperdeath from Azrael speaking, but I do feel some kind of holy being.
Oh my god.
Help would be very much appreciated.
Oh my god.
#Godkin. #Deitykin. #Otherkin.
Oh god.
Okay, when I bookmarked this, I didn't look at the fucking hashtags. I didn't.
God of hyperdeath.
This makes it 1,000 times worse.
Oh my god.
I don't know why they're bringing Azrael.
1,000 times worse. Azrael has spoken. No way. No.
Was that enough brain damage for you, Jaeger?
No, that was concussion thing.
I got the brain damage.
That was like deep concussions. Repeat.
I told you I would bust out my sugoi voice and it would just be then the end of it for you.
Oh lord.
Oh god, you should have heard me reading the gay thing in my sugoi voice. That was funny.
Okay, oh my god. Okay, Amy, do you want another
Sure.
one?
Yes.
I
Yes.
would
Another one.
Put a hammer on her brain. Hey,
Uruga.
wait.
Okay.
It's, library done. So I have moved to a new library. Anyway, I have a new reading. Anyway, place
Tokyo
my mom.
Automatic.
Okay, Merlin, just chill, bud.
No, you chill.
Let's see. I just making it's wise to create this one.
Oh boy, you're just picking them out specifically for people.
Oh boy.
Oh boy, we're getting tailor-made retardation.
You don't know. He does this. He does this. He will pick something that he thinks will break you, or he will attempt to break you by picking out very specific things.
The only thing that might be broken right now is my bowels. I think I need to go to the bathroom. Hang on.
Oh lord.
It's too late for that.
That's charming.
Oh, don't worry. I'm full of charm and grace. Trust me.
Oh, I can tell.
Oh,
I thought that was just your crone speaking.
Okay.
Oh. Okay.
So there's 52 ghouls.
I'm sorry
on
about
there.
the
What?
design about the site. It's like completely centered, but okay.
You can't help it that it's
fine,
cancer, okay?
But oh well.
Yeah.
So this looks like it's from Armin's boyfriend's Tumblr. And I don't get people who are so against myself being prophetkin and a chosen one. Y'all saying it's impractical. A prophetkin and a chosen one. Y'all saying it's impractical.
Yeah, like, why do they think that?
Y'all saying it's impractical.
Like
but
Neo
at the
from
same
Matrix.
time, worship Jesus. You heard me. At the same time, you're worshiping Jesus, who literally just claimed to be the Son of God. Y'all say it's narcissistic, sure, but everyone is really narcissistic at the base of it. all the prophets in history and religion are narcissists under that logic.
So we can do worse. One of us can do worse than that.
That's right. You know the band
It's easy being a it's easy being a prophet after like everything's written and it's like, yo, okay, end of story, close. We're telling you what's gonna happen. I mean, it's kind of cheating to be a prophet after that.
Well, Gwen's fucking resurrected.
My problem is that I'm a prophet now. I am bringing a new word to you while my son burps in the background.
I can see that.
Yes, that is the proof.
He's speaking in tongues.
Tell us about the band
And that's
today.
how you know I'm prophet and prophetkin, because I speak in tongues. You all know the band The. You heard me. There is one of their songs with the lyric of...
There's a band called The.
Yes, The. Merlin, stop, okay? They can't hear me over your laughing. I lost my place. There it is. There's one of their songs with the lyric of, if the real Jesus Christ were to stand up today, he'd be shot down cold by the CIA. That's the truth, to be honest. You heard me. I'll repeat it for you. If the real Jesus Christ were to stand up today... Merlin, stop. That's rude.
What?
He'd be shot down cold by the CIA. Anybody who claims to be connected to the higher power in any way, which is labeled as a lunatic and a psycho. So many religions keep on waiting for a saver. Not a savior, a saver.
A saver. They want a saver.
Wait,
I am the holy saver. I will savor everything I lick. See, this is what I am profiting of. The holy tongue.
Oh my god.
Okay, so
so
many religions keep on waiting for a saver to come or return, yet anybody who even slightly claims to be divine, you shun like there's no tomorrow. Thus you hope to avoid the holy tongue and its drool. So, I'm gonna stand up and say, I'm a fucking prophet, whether everyone hates me or not. And someday, I'm gonna save the world. I'm gonna shake up the roots of this fucked up society, and nobody can fucking stop me. The tongue is coming.
Oh, dang.
You understand me? Call me crazy.
Damn, son.
Send me to the doctors. I don't care. I've been there.
Damn, son.
Are lobotomies illegal?
What?
What a nice pick.
I thought that was being communist.
Oh!
It's only legal if you don't sit caught.
He is for dirty commie.
Okay, so there's one more paragraph.
Yeah.
Call me
Okay, go on.
crazy.
Yes.
Send me to the doctors. I don't care. I've been there, done that. But your medication hasn't stopped me before. And there's Athena. See, I told you, the holy tongue. Excuse me a moment.
Dun dun dun.
It's the world trying to stop you.
Hey, I just met you. And I'm a prophet.
Oh, she's texting me.
Still
the holy tongue texted me.
God, so worship me, maybe?
You will know what I'm learning. My insanity is my blessing. You can't be sane to change the world, and I'm gonna change the world. After I get the holy tongue back.
I love this logic is pretty flawless.
Yes,
I mean,
And by flawless, I mean it has no substance, therefore it can have no flaw.
If you scream into an empty room, you know, there's nobody's gonna challenge you.
Yeah, I
Well,
mean,
if somebody does, you better worry.
Well, they don't care because they've been to the doctors. Fuck you.
You have to understand that they're not screaming to an empty room, they're screaming to themselves.
oh, they scream to the abyss. Yes.
You know, in the
Screams
long
back
movies-
down.
Yeah.
Shut up! Shut up! I can't take you anymore.
Shut up, children!
Abyss stares back into you.
No, I'm getting a restraining order against the abyss.
So this was the elaborate defense of a prophet.
Crazy person.
Excuse me, a prophet? Didn't you hear?
Crazy person, yes.
Crazy
person, yes, I heard it.
A banana milkshake.
Bananas!
Banana.
Oh, banana.
Okay, so I heard that you wanted more brain damage than sir. So
Give me
boy.
the brain damage.
Got the damn damage. Damn damage.
I got the
Ah!
So I'm going to give you brain damage.
He's hiding like in the pillows, and it's freaking me out a little bit. Jaeger, help!
I'm just going to
Jaeger, help!
like
He's in
put
the
the
pillows.
hashtags here. Just put the hashtags. Put hashtag. Put hashtag. I put the hashtags. Put the hashtags.
Put hash brown.
There
Maybe
we go.
hashtag hash browns.
Dear
Hashtag
God,
hash
what?
browns. Hashtag hash browns.
Oh dear God, this is longer.
Enjoy.
You did say you wanted brain damage. Jaeger does not relent.
I became what to call it, but I have strong feelings of fellowship with the deity, if it makes any sense. I'm not sure exactly what to even call my feelings. I feel nice to be worshipped. It's not devoutly or anything. It's just like, I like the idea of shrines dedicated to me and having people honoring me, kind of like an ancient god or goddess. You know, like one that isn't really seriously worshipped anymore, but is
I
still
don't want to be worshipped. I
acknowledged.
want to be worshipped.
I don't mean people should like actually worship me in real life. I mean the kind of respect worship that minor gods get nowadays.
You don't know
Not
what you
that
want.
real life people should literally treat me like a god, because that would be incredibly silly.
What the fuck is the point of this post?
The
I want
things
respect,
that,
Liz, thanks.
the things that come to mind at the moment, ATM, are like how PPL go to shrines and pay respects and leave stuff for the god, you know,
You
like
sound like a
welfare.
person I would respect, yes, and worship.
Welfare.
It doesn't actually say that. I'm ad-libbing.
I know. I know. I was amused.
Perhaps I'm dating after all. I
Oh,
also
boy.
feel a strong connection with statues, especially those of dogs and lions and food dogs, guardian lion, and
That-
hard as diamonds. It's not even like that I like dogs and lions at all, although I do, but it's something a lot deeper than that. I feel as though they're my friends, and I respect them even though I know it's impossible that they have souls. Maybe there would be food dog statues at my shrine. If I had to make a guess, I would be a deity of nature. Specifically predators like canines, felines, and mustelids, also of hunting. Because I feel connection with birds. Again, IDK if I'm making any sense.
You know,
And I like having pieces of animals near with me because that's not weird. And I would have had statues and strides and altars.
So basically, this guy's like a typical Louisiana resident.
Yeah, well, he has like pieces of animals around him, like half eating KFC and shit like that, like chicken
Dog
McNuggets.
jerky.
Dog jerky.
Perhaps my preferred form would have been a white dog. My main kid type. Also, I have a connection with constellations. Perhaps my true form or whatever is a constellation. I don't know, but I'm feeling these things more and more often as of late. IDKY, and thinking about these feelings makes me feel good inside. Help me.
I love how it ends with "help me."
The hashtag Daddy can, hashtag God can, hashtag questioning, and hashtag kin type.
I wish there was like a hashtag "help me" right there.
Hashtag, please.
Pleading for someone's aid.
Wow,
With
I
mental cases.
how many brain cells did I just lose?
Well, I think
of them.
we all lost the capacity to count, and now there's like a fucking fucking elder god over there.
Yeah, my brain has turned into pieces of animals that I carry with me.
Well, carry them dearly.
Oh yes, carry on my wayward son.
I mean, they might be have exceeded their use, but they're still precious, right?
Hey man, dried meat is still meat.
So, that was a special kind of.
That was a special kind of stupid.
I mean, the last person, like the prophet one, at least was like determined about what they wanted to prove,
Right,
and like they had a set of objective. This last one is just where were they going with
It can all be summarized with 2 words.
Help me.
Yes, the last 2 words were the entire post. The entire post were like those 2 separate words.
All I want to do is respond like, well, bro, I mean, I don't know if you were a god in a past life. I mean, maybe you're supernatural, but I don't think you'd ever be a god. Because if you have resolve that's like this, I don't think you've ever been worshipped in history. You've probably just been, like, forgotten in every single age.
You don't sound like a winner. And winners go home to fuck the prom queen.
No. His excuse will be like he's a god of chaos. You know, gods of chaos don't need to have resolve. They are all like willy nilly. You don't need to have plans like a fucking god of fucking chaos.
Oh god.
There's the internet's excuse to not abiding by any kind of commitment is chaos.
They are not the man now, dog.
Okay. So next up is like a lot. It's basically a grab bag of a lot of short posts found on Tumblr with the hashtag actually divine. Hashtag actually divine. Which, well, refers to obviously the God King. So let's check that out. Just let me. Fuck! I want to window my second life there.
Oh boy.
Technicalities. So, starting here. Okay, I need more blogs to follow. Looking for Steven Universe, our king, especially Divine King. But I love our king, so furry artists and PPL with personas. I would say furries, but I don't want a bunch of creepy fur affinity furries reblogging this. I do not know. I'm artistic and mentally owl angel. You angel who likes lions reblog this if you think wet. Be pals. I don't know. We're starting. Hello. Some introductions are in order, I suppose.
Come on.
All right. Well, my name is Mooney, though I'm sure that's going to change. I'm hashtag actually divine.
Let go of the
And
phone.
the moon.
Thank you.
My pronouns are she, sees, he, him,
Merlin.
his, moon, moons.
What? Just left the dog.
Who loves Tumblr pronouns?
No, but you won't
I love Tumblr
left to be all
pronouns.
alone.
Loon, Luna, Lunar, Lunars, Luna Self, or Luna Self.
Okay, stop.
Loon Self.
Lunatic.
Luna, yes, I think lunatic.
Merlin,
is very
stop. Dog, stop.
That's not me.
Serious, lay down.
In this context, lunar pronouns were introduced to me
Thank
by
you.
the totally tubular actual deity. Go
Totally
check out
tubular.
per blog, totally tubular. Best deity plus best everything else.
Oh, I'm gonna kiss your ass.
Who wants to read the next beautiful thing?
I don't know if my brain can handle it. I think I've already had an aneurysm or two.
Oh, beautiful. That's the objective of every after hours, actually. Create more damage. That can or cannot be reversible.
You must offer your brain to Cthulhu.
My mom has covered a plane into 3 ruined cities as plane.
Merlin.
Oh, God. Well, Cthulhu is there to gather or liquefy the brains, if that it comes down to that.
I thought Cthulhu was there to satiate my unquenchable thirst for tentacle porn.
That too. Maybe.
Oh my man.
Is Kino there?
Oh maybe.
No, Dragonborn.
I'm here.
What I'm here for.
What are you doing?
Nora.
That he's just going full retard, so I'll just let him do that.
Oh, okay. Kino, do you want to read this next one?
Yeah, I'll read
Sure.
one, then I have to go to bed.
Oh,
sorry.
Sadie, do you want to read? Yes, please.
I think you can
Sadie,
read it. I don't really give a either way.
Please.
Then I'm going to bed because I'm just.
Like, look at my hand.
Yes, I see
So,
Merlin.
oh God.
Hey, don't take my name in vain.
Fuck you. Here.
Oh, SETI, damn it.
If you ever see me say/mention Glaucus, that is my personal highest deity, my top tier first in my life god that I am loyal to and serve. But I am loyal to/plan to worship Growl. It is a being that I just feel called to serve. See, my father is a god that serves a higher god. Raiju is a companion to Raijin, and I have inherited the strong desire to be a companion god. I am also a messenger and sign of the end. I herald the end of everything. I'm here partly, I think, to be a sign that things are coming to a close, at least in this realm with a capital R. I go between humanity and that which they cannot access with signs and messages that the end is coming and what will happen when it does. But I'm also a god that fixates on certain moral shit. Damn, their orange soda is fucking banging. It gave me orange, I wanted lemon lime.
What are they?
Give me
Kel?
orange. I wanted lemon lime.
Are they Kel from Kenan and Kel? Who loves orange soda? I do, I do, I do.
Ah.
I just hate that freaking Tumblr humor, but I'm also a god that fixates on certain moral shit. Damn, their orange soda's fucking kill me.
And think you hit there.
Yeah. No, you're not heralding the end of the world. You're heralding the end of intelligent human life, and that's probably at this point for the best.
Yes, the Fedora Crusaders.
Okay, on that
Fedora
note,
Crusaders.
on that
Fedora
lovely note,
Prophets.
I can go to bed. Good night.
Okay.
Soapy spaghetti.
Bless yourself.
I don't think it works like that.
Don't poop
Okay.
on any cars now.
I mean, well, maybe it's just the metaphysical version of using one hand. I don't know.
Oh,
What are you?
were you gay?
No, I was trying to get. Hey, you're doing over there in the corner. You whacking off?
Oh God.
Don't do that.
The walking
You'll grow
police.
hair on your palms. Good old times.
You're gonna grow a hand on your hand.
Absolutely.
Okay. Kino, do you want?
It's for maximum grip.
They say Max?
Yes, because if you put a hand on your hand, you're gonna get a better grip. You're gonna get a grip.
Maximum grip.
So, next. Kino, do you want that?
Sure. I don't even know what it is, but sure.
You never know.
Okay. What the fuck? What level of brain damage do you want?
As much as you want, or
Alright. You go ahead,
as much as you
scan
can
that.
endure. As much as you can endure.
Why are we just scraping the microphone now?
Because good.
Oh, sorry, I was beard ASMRing.
Oh. Oh. Okay.
I'm so glad that you get all these references. It makes me so happy.
God damn. I need to stop laughing first. Fuck. Alright. Here we go. Good news, Mina. I got a new computer for the holidays, so after I set up some time in January, so I can start drawing again, which is I want to draw myself again, but I also want to draw more animalistic gods. Sorry, humanoids, you're not kawaii enough for this blog. I'm not skilled enough with those shapes. I don't want to fuck up your looks that bad. But once I draw some art of myself and a pony character of mine that is another facet of me, I will be asking for refs to see if my art skills are still okay.
Okay, so
The Archangel Michael is the one who put me here. He's the one who did this to me.
And that was an actual post with like all caps.
That's hilarious. Stop it now.
And I guess that one poster exploded after that. I won T. Little stones, smooth stones, W, rounded edges, either the natural ones or the ones you get at museums that are cool colors plus went through a rock tumbler. Those are my fav offerings.
Rock tumbler.
Please
Rock tumbler.
give rock tumbler, please.
Rock tumbler, please.
Please tumbler rock.
Please
Give
give
tumbler rock tumbler.
Can't stop the rock.
Tumbler rock.
You can't stop the fucking tumbler rock.
You can't
Tumbler
stop
rock.
the fucking.
Okay. Amy, do you want another one?
Yes.
Before we die?
Nope.
Yes.
Okay.
Before we die. I like how that was the caveat is
We're all
just
gonna die.
before we die.
Hey. By the format, this looks very bad.
Oh boy.
Okay,
Did
so
you
what
save
you
the
just
worst
said
for
to
Ame?
me?
I actually didn't read that one.
Well, we blind reading. Right?
Oh.
I feel like one of the 7 was supposed to become a god or take over as the creator. But I'm getting out of hand with this, aren't I? But at second thought, maybe I'm right. I won't speak of any of their names. I was one of the 7, and I'm sure Z still is, but I feel like their divinity is stronger than before, like almost godlike. Maybe Z won, or maybe it's temporary. Yeah, because I feel like I'm supposed to win. I'm supposed to become God. I will. I'll fulfill the tasks thrown at me. I am one of the 7.
The golden ticket.
Hear me out. The time is coming. I hope everyone is ready. Everyone in the tag, I just gave you some good stuff.
What?
Okay, so
I gave him good stuff.
This
and
is the good
hashtag
stuff.
that was
That's
hashtag
right. The good stuff.
and that was hashtag and there is so much more.
Trash man.
Hashtag I'll link it to the time.
It's all garbage.
So that was so garbage and trash.
Trash.
God damn, that was so inspiring. It filled me with determination. Max, do you want to?
Cancer.
No.
Yeah, that was cancerous.
Finish us.
Let's test your mic.
Dino,
Yeah.
how do you feel about GPM?
GPM.
You haven't been watching recently, have you?
No.
GPM's one of the new Vine Sauce streamers.
Digger.
Oh.
Yes.
No,
sorry.
I'm kind of.
Here. Max.
I really only watch Vinny and Joel just because I just like their humor the best.
Well, I love Joel. I'm just saying that GPM had been on Joel's channel with him before.
Oh, he was the one when they were doing Roller Coaster Tycoon. He was the one that did the suck coaster.
Yeah, you need to look at Vine Wrestle 2016.
What? I need to
Okay,
look at what?
so Max,
Vine
please
Wrestle
brain
16,
damage us.
Joel's channel.
Everybody put your suicide methods away just for a moment.
But come on, man. I need.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry, no.
Not good.
Merlin.
God's divine people. I'm fairly new to this whole thing, and I was wondering how you all connect, I guess, to that side of you. I'm not explaining what I mean very well, but I guess I have some stuff I'd like answered, and the way I normally do it, staring at my wall and grumbling, is not the helpful ATM? Question mark. And that's it. And they didn't...
Thank you. That was very elucidating.
What did they say? Staring at my Wong dumpling?
Staring at my wall and grumbling.
Oh, sorry.
I don't want to know.
Staring at my Wong dumpling.
Let me tell you, kid, my thoughts on gods. There are no heavenly spiritual gods, really. Gods are on earth. Gods are practically human. We're quite common, maybe 1 in 30. There are around 250 million gods on this planet. Some know it, some don't.
Yeah, they're all Mormons.
Yes, exactly. We don't have massive amounts of power because with millions of gods it would be chaos. Because God's powers rely heavily on worshippers' followers. And out of probably less than 100 or 1,000 of gods know what they are. There are still very many gods and very little of the human population is willing to worship them. On that note, leave a candle? Hey kid, wanna leave a candle for a veteran god?
Man, I'm telling you.
If you have anything to say on the matter, your comments will be appreciated. We can discuss. And then a lonely question mark. Which should be my reaction right now.
Yeah.
We should be closing. We are at the closing point because
oh boy.
who can stand this for so long? But
You can only go so far before it starts to wear on you.
I mean, we still didn't get to poetry, right?
Oh boy. You got some poetry for us? Got some poetry? Got some poems? Got some poems in your little Tumblr book?
Please.
Wow, what the hell just happened?
All of the fuck.
So
I thought that was just me.
So, the prophet has spoken.
Oh boy.
But you cannot hear him.
Oh, wait, are you reading?
Yes, this is
Yes.
the title. So, the prophet has
Quiet, Merlin.
spoken, but you cannot hear him, nor can you see him, nor are you even aware of his presence. Your ignorance has left you deaf, dumb, and blind. You call him a fraud, say his cards are but a joke, and that his visions are cleared up with the meditation. You prescribe him pills. You try to shut him up. You hear that, Dad? And you
Not a
shut
phrase,
him up.
Dad! Fuck you!
It's not a fair.
And to seal his third eye shut for good. But your efforts are all done in vain, for the pagan gods of mischief and chaos, and the goddesses of magic and divination, have all smiled upon the prophet, and have granted him the gift of sight, if only they granted you with the gift of hearing. So, you're not seeing what he's hearing because of the mischief and the chaos of the pagan gods. Because they're smiling. That's because the prophet and the non-believers, yes.
Speaking of prophets, this is actually actual happening to me recently. When I changed my phone number, I would get a few phone calls I wouldn't, recognize. And there's this one phone number that changes all the time that continuously calls my phone number, and it always leaves a message about a minute and a half long. And every time I get that message and I open it up, it's not the same message, but it always opens up like this. My dearest friends, this is Prophet Manasseh.
This is so
okay.
weird. This is so horrible. No.
And he constantly leaves messages, and all I have to hear is, my dearest friends, this is Prophet Manasseh. Delete. Okay.
Jesus Christ. This guy
And
is...
some of the shit that he said is crazy. I'm just like, there's an evil in your life. That no.
This must be at least
He's
entertaining.
already crazy.
Yes. Well, exactly. Like,
Maybe both.
you can't be sane to change the world. So, who wants to read the next poem?
I don't think I got it in me, man.
I'll do it. Oh, Ame, let
Okay,
Ame do
so-
it. Let's see. Dramatic reading by Ame.
Here.
I am hallowed and hollow, a divine
my
being.
nose.
Merlin! No. Excuse me a moment. Merlin, when I'm doing a
Divine
dramatic
intervention.
reading, you do not interrupt.
So,
Okay? You wait until the end.
Oh, we're back.
Alright?
alright.
Okay.
I shouldn't have giggled, but that was like perfect time.
That was not okay.
This was
Alright,
like the time where
very
out of nowhere,
embarrassing.
and I wasn't expecting.
Okay? You're in big trouble.
Merlin just goes 420 blaze it.
Oh, God.
Man, don't
Merlin,
make me go
Okay.
downstairs right now.
Now I'm ready.
Alright.
I am hallowed and hollow, a divine being with something to kill for, trapped in a flesh cage. I am wild and furious, desperate to be free, desperate to be violent. Lightning struck me in my angel childhood, left me with shattered wings and electric human blood. I am something in between. I wish I could meet my match. I wish I could fight him. I wish I could win. I am made of heaven and stardust, of flesh and bone. I am made of something inorganic, something unlovable. If you touch me, you will burn. By Holy War Zero. Okay, Merlin, now you can
I
come
think
back.
that their biggest problem is that they got struck by lightning.
Yeah, and they are on fire, and they
Clearly
should
they-
see. And this is why if you touch them, you burn. And they should
Um,
seek help for that. Like post
I guess all I can say is that regardless of the circumstance, I'm not entirely shocked by how they're acting.
Yes, oh God. Oh, fuck you. I mean, I don't know how they afforded the time to write a poem while on fire. But, I mean...
Well, I mean, hey, you know, that's some pretty good paper juggling.
That is true. Kino, do you want to read the next poem?
Sure.
Okay, no, if it's a short one, I'm willing to read another one if it's short.
Oh God, this one's fucking long.
No then.
I'll do it.
Okay. Kino is going to read this one.
I'll take one for the team.
Real trooper.
Yeah.
I mean, this one's... I think this one is shorter than the... No, this one's...
that long?
Okay, look, don't read this one. Read this one, and then I'm going to give the last one for to next.
I have a little joke. What's 200 feet long and has 9 teeth?
What?
The line to a Trump rally.
What?
Oh my God! How long is this fucking poem, Jaeger? Jesus fuck!
Go on. You.
All right.
Go.
Okay, so what's the brain damage level again?
Damage.
All of it. All of it. Somewhere
No.
Sugoi
Angst. No, do angst.
So it's it's Molgoth time then. Okay.
Oh, it's fucking Gilgamesh.
Gilgamesh. Okay, I think this is the fucking title. I can't tell with this piece of shit. But I believe that it's called Dance World Shattering. So, in the chaos, time will end. Throughout time, life will rend. All beginnings start with an end. Or shall your deity a savior send? I am the change. Are you afraid? Now I've escaped my cage. Shatter what you believe. Truth you shall receive. There will be no relief. Dance, break away, and play. Shut up! I'm trying to be serious, you're God!
What was this time?
God, I'm trying to put my soul into this poem, man.
God damn it, Mom! I told you I don't want any of your fucking cookies! Close the door, you're letting the light in!
Wearing black isn't a phase, Mom.
This is who I am. Okay, dance. Break away. God damn it!
Cool.
Dance. Break
Where are you
away
going, Merle?
and play. This game is
Merle, where are you
gone.
going?
Are you ashamed? Sing your own damn song. Trapped inside limitations, will you survive? Despite your good intentions, I'm alive. I exist as you struggle and strive. And you should resist. I will ever persist. Deadly, dangerously beautiful. Undeniably, horrifyingly terrible. Chaotic, changing all you are. Are you still hiding?
Are you still paying attention?
I see. Never out of my sight, truly. Here ends your so-called might. Dance with me as world
No, I
ends.
prefer to dance
Isn't it
alone.
all
You're
so
very
lovely?
weird.
And all you know condemned is gone in the heartbeat of a song. I am the change. Are you afraid? Now escape to shatter what you believe. Truth you shall receive. There will be
very
no
weird
relief
pickup lines for a
from
girl.
my chaotic dance. My love has risen from beneath. You never had a chance.
We
So
invited you
dance,
to this prom.
break down. I'll pull you underground. Surrender all your struggle and your strife. Live all your
I
passions.
think it's time that you called your parents.
I'm gonna bury you in my love.
As all your rage, off stage, on stage, outrage, rampage. When
They are not going to allow you on stage.
this is your stage,
Not at that age.
No, it's not.
Bring me to life. The rhythm calls again. Dance
No.
with me. So easy.
I already told you off.
As the world is in with you. Some lyrics I put together some time ago refers to an energy of intense divine love that destroys/transforms. 'Twas written before I came to the realization of my divinity.
Okay, bye, Max.
Hey guys,
Bye, Max.
like puberty. Bye, Max.
You're lucky you get to save a few brain cells. Goodbye.
Oh yeah, speaking of brain cells, Nemesis, to cope the grace your brain.
Oh, boy.
So, last poem for the night is going to be read by our debutant. Oh, that's the same one you will burn. Okay, sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
No, I got the right one because I'm doing mistakes. My brain's not working here. This is the one.
Shut off.
Oh,
It's like,
this
fuck,
one
I'm
that starts with
Yes.
cold. That's the right
Yes.
one.
Okay. Let me read this real quick and get a feel for how it's supposed to sound.
edgy as fuck.
Cold, cold, the angel bears down upon you. Flesh and silver. In many moons, we will become monsters. But for now, we're just parasites, trading the earth like a water skin. When the end comes round, we'll decay like always, and then we'll rise again, divine and violent. Taste of kerosene to wake you. Taste of lemonade to shake you. Take your time. We'll wait for you. Thief in the night. It's not the way it's meant to be. Nothing's ever the way it's meant to be. But it's meant to be for your own good.
All right, buddy. I think you had one too many.
I
think
don't
I'm
let it
taking your
not still
keys.
help.
No, taking your keys. You're walking home.
What? But,
No,
I
no,
need to drive.
no, you're not God. I don't care. You're not divine and violent. Well, you're violent, but you're not divine. So,
I drink for
yeah,
sustenance.
you drink very violently.
I drink so violently that none of it gets in my mouth.
Oh.
It gets around you. But
I spill the blood everywhere. None of it goes in my mouth.
What do you want? What? You're not working on this. No.
So
You're
the
not
whole
working on
time
this.
I have to be like,
This is for work.
janitors love you everywhere.
You can't just start drawing on wood.
the janitors. It's like viscera cleanup detail.
Oh my god.
You're the cause for this fucking game.
There's just blood everywhere. The blood. The blood's making more blood. Help!
You can't put blood
Oh
in
my
your
god,
mouth.
there's so much blood. There's blood on the blood.
There's blood on the blood on the blood on the
Blood
blood.
is bloody.
There's so
Okay.
much blood on the blood, and I think that's my blood.
I think there's blood on my
Well,
blood.
that's kind of like a
Well,
sphinx.
let's finish that off before, this last reflections of a god. For you to have a good night of sleep and that your mortality doesn't suck. 1, 2, 3,
Sandman
snaps!
god.
1, 2, 3, snap. Hands are fragile. Fingers crush easy under pressure. When dent, funny. They're docilely breakable for being so important to human life. And they don't heal right
Merlin,
all
stop.
the time.
Oh, you're
Don't
getting that
heal
stuff
at all in the mind. They'll always be crookedest and bend like that, right? 1, 2, 3, crunch. Why do people think they're indestructible with bigger things out there, bigger things in them? And can't they do much more than what they are? They are
they're hurt by their own things when they die. Why bother living playing God when they are so low that a God wouldn't even need to look at them for them to self-destruct? 1, 2, 3, in, out! When breathing is hard, when a chest is being pushed outward by something too much for the body to hold in. How does a spirit so big get trapped into a body like this? Joints pop, bones click, ribs crack, everything hurts, everything is permanent enough to keep one locked down to the ground was exploding from the inside, but impermanent enough to wash away under circumstances out of my control. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, tick, 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 tick.
Okay, crackhead, no more pipes for you.
Wow.
So this was the reflections, of course, of genuine, actually divine God, not a crazy person.
Quote unquote crackhead.
Not a crazy person.
I am a genuine god of crack.
Yes, God of crack. Yes, of course.
Yes, I am the god of crack cocaine.
So, I always like to inquire, what are you going to carry on from the experience of
My
others? Go on.
I learned that the gods are people too, and they are all very needy.
And they can be more annoying than actual people, I guess.
Yeah.
And
I have learned that the biggest lesson to be learned here is that one should never give crackheads computers.
That is true, and you never negotiate with crackheads.
No, that's a negative policy.
You kindly take the computer away and say no.
There, honestly, if they want a computer, just give them a Windows 95 and AOL. They'll be fine.
Yeah. Well, of course. You open a Word document and say, "This is the internet. Type away anything that you like."
Anything you write here will be seen by everyone on the internet.
Exactly. Just open a Word editor document and say, "Here, right?
You're a god, right?
Sorry. Yes, you're God. Now, here is your open and blank canvas, and you can do whatever you want."
Here are your stone slabs to put your testaments on. Have fun.
And there you go. And you just filtered Tumblr. But yeah, if that was done every time, I don't think we would have after hours. So, there are, those two things.
We do require a good sizable amount of these people to not have access to the internet.
Well, so thank you everyone for showing up, and big welcome to Nemazor, our newest member. I hope you had a great time.
I did, and I'm actually slightly confused as to why I'm stuck up both you and Kino Zanus.
Well, that's a very interesting phrase.
Well, look at me, man.
You're just a concept right now. You're just like a ball of energy.
You're right. I'm blowing smoke out my non-existent asshole. I am just an ethereal thing.
Right now, you're just like an elucubration of the mind.
I speak to all of you through the brains.
You are the closest thing that we have of a god. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Actually, yes, that's like RP-wise, you're actually pretty close.
Oh, there's Amy over there. I think now that we have a divine battle coming.
Oh yeah, we have a demon god and a kami. Of course, all of my power is stolen from the millions of tormented souls inside of me, but
That always bodes well when you put one thing with the other. They always make friends, right?
Well, yeah, especially since, I have millions of souls being eternally tormented in order to elicit full power. Yeah, I mean, I'm totally...
That's just another way to say that they are having a great time and, having, all kinds of drinks and...
Oh, yeah, because,
and-
existing in an eternal living hell inside my stomach is just the best thing ever.
That's how I describe it. Like partying. Boy, am I having an eternal living hell, and that's how I describe it. Fun, right?
Yeah, don't worry, Ami. I won't step on your sphere of influence. I'm respectful, even if I'm evil.
Respectful. Well, it was fun to research and bring this.
You brought some good stuff, Jaeger.
Yes, last time, for those who weren't here, I looked up demons and it was how to summon demons and how to hunt demons. And this time we saw things of I am God. So,
Well,
keeping up with
the summon demons, you're free to summon me at any time.
Am I summoning a legion of demons in one?
No, it's just me.
Oh.
Pretty lonely.
Oh boy, well, it never gets lonely if you have thousands of souls inside of you.
Well, it's funny because every time I open my mouth, if you listen really, really, really hard, you can hear the screams.
Oh, just like Tumblr.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Need some ointment for that one.
People screaming in the void. And I am officially tired.
Okay.
Well, that was fun.
It was.
I had a good time, Geese.
Huh? Hey! I'm glad that you had a good time. That